Chapter 636. There was a second and third level in the Glory Treasury. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. The treasures on the first level were already too much for the eyes to take in. It would take more than a day to sort them out one by one. But as the Honorable Lieutenant said, this was obviously the lowest level of the treasury. So, the Time Glory Star Ring is still useful in the main competition? Lin Feng asked. The Honorable Lieutenant replied, it's very useful in the first round of the main competition. You can choose to accumulate colors. If you can stand out and enter the top 8, you can enter the second or even third level of the Glory Treasury. Of course, if you fail, you'll lose everything. Gambling. Lin Feng nodded secretly. It was very risky. The Honorable Lieutenant said, in my opinion, don't lose the big picture for the small. Of course, the choice is in your hands. Everyone nodded in agreement. According to the Honorable Lieutenant, they were generally weaker than the contestants who were exempted from the test. A bird in the hand was better than 10 in the bush. They should first exchange for a treasure to increase their combat power. However, the Glory Treasury in front of him was dazzling and dazzling. In your opinion, how should we choose? Wang Liao asked. After all, he was the son of the Thunderbolt Palace's leader and had rich experience. It could be seen that the Honorable Lieutenant was actually cold on the outside, but kind on the inside. Sure enough, the Honorable Lieutenant pondered for a moment and then said, in the main competition, the luck level is even lower. It emphasizes personal combat power more. In my opinion, if you want to fight in the main competition, exchange for a suitable holy treasure. You should know where your weakness is. Everyone nodded. If your combat power is average and there's nothing special about it, you can choose a combat-type pill. Here, it's not recommended to buy ordinary strengthening pills. Instead, you should choose pills that overdraw your strength. For example, the Boundless Bear Strength pill can double your strength in a short time and increase your attack power. As a price, you'll be weak for a while after the pill's effect. Another example is the Mixed Thunder pill. If you cultivate the Way of Thunder, you can activate the Holy Chi of Thunder several times. It's very beneficial to warriors who are good at using Profound Will. Lin Feng listened carefully to every word. This knowledge was not available in the 33 continents. There was some information in primordial heavenly Devil Chi Yan's memories, but it was not as detailed as the Honorable Lieutenant's explanation. These pills that could increase one's strength in a short period of time might not be of much use in the second round, but in a one-on-one battle, they would have a surprising effect. A medicinal pill. It was comparable to a heaven-grade treasure. Its value is obvious. However, if you're lucky enough to pass the second round, there's a huge difference in strength, or if you're a martial artist with a long-term vision, I suggest you choose a foundational treasure. The honorary captain said, generally, there are bloodline type, aptitude type, and body type. Making up for weaknesses will be of great help to the long-term path of cultivation. In addition, I would like to recommend the unique treasure of our Glory Alliance, the Heart of Glory. Heart of Glory? Lin Feng was curious. The word unique carried a lot of weight. The honorary captain said, you should know that it's very difficult to integrate Holy Chi beyond the first week. The failure rate of the first attempt is as high as 99%. Even if he had experienced it the second time, the failure rate is still more than 80%, and it often requires the assistance of many heavenly materials and earthly treasures. A success rate of 40% or even 50% is already not bad. There were 2 obstacles to becoming an Yamo expert. One was to have a perfect body. The other was to integrate Holy Chi. Generally speaking, it was normal to integrate Holy Chi 2 or 3 times to succeed. There are many medicinal pills and heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the Nye world that can assist in integration. They can increase the success rate of integration, but none of them can match the Heart of Glory of our Glory Alliance. The honorary captain looked proud. The low-grade Heart of Glory can make the success rate of elementary Holy Chi integration as high as 95%. The mid-grade Heart of Glory can make the success rate of mid-grade Holy Chi integration as high as 90%. The upper-grade Heart of Glory can make the success rate of high-grade Holy Chi integration as high as 80%, and the success rate of mid-grade Holy Chi integration as high as 100%. Everyone was shocked. Even Lin Feng was shocked. 100%. There was a 100% success rate of Holy Chi integration. The strongest human force in the Nye world, the Glory Alliance, did have a strong foundation. However, there are levels of Holy Chi integration. Lin Feng didn't understand what the honorary captain meant by elementary, mid-grade, and advanced. The honorary captain nodded. The difficulty of Holy Chi integration is different. Generally speaking, the integration of 5 elements Holy Chi is elementary. The integration of 5 elements Holy Chi in heaven and earth Holy Chi is mid-grade, and the integration of 2 heaven and earth Holy Chi is advanced. Of course, there are many differences in the actual implementation. For example, the integration of first-grade Holy Chi and super first-grade Holy Chi, the integration of 2 Holy Chi, the integration of 3 Holy Chi. We call it the difficulty level of Holy Chi integration. So that was it. Not only Lin Feng understood, but the other 9 people also understood. Is there no true Yin Holy Chi? Blowing Snow asked suddenly. No. The honorary captain's answer was direct and simple. There are 12 kinds of heaven and earth Holy Chi, 5 elements Holy Chi, and 2 Chis of Yin and Yang. True Yin Holy Chi is the form of evolution of heaven and earth Holy Chi. For example, True Yin Holy Chi of snow is a branch of water Holy Chi of 5 elements. Magma Holy Chi is a part of fire Holy Chi, and lightning Holy Chi belongs to light Holy Chi. For you, Holy Chi of snow and Holy Chi of Yin. Snow is water of the 5 elements, and water is Yin. It is not difficult to integrate Holy Chi. True Yin Holy Chi is half a star, and Yin and Yang Holy Chi are 1.5 stars. The integration of the 2 forms a base of 2 stars. The difficulty level is elementary. As long as you supplement it with a low-grade Heart of Glory, the success rate of integration can be as high as 95%. 95%. It meant that as long as there were no big mistakes, it was basically a sure thing. Blowing Snow's beautiful eyes completely lit up. Is there a low-grade Heart of Glory here? Lin Feng asked on behalf of Blowing Snow. The honorary captain nodded. Yes, there's a mid-grade Heart of Glory on the 2nd floor and an upper-grade Heart of Glory on the 3rd floor. If you don't want to compete in the competition, it is the best choice to exchange for a low-grade Heart of Glory here. Well, that's all for the introduction. You have 3 hours to choose. Let's begin. There's plenty of time. It included the time to choose a heaven-level sacred treasure. Lin Feng was not idle either. He browsed around the rare treasures of the 33 continents to broaden his knowledge. For him, a low-grade Heart of Glory was not very useful. The integration of 2 types of Holy Chi of heaven and earth was an advanced difficulty level, and he needed an upper-grade Heart of Glory. Blowing Snow chose a low-grade Heart of Glory without hesitation. Yi Xia chose a Saint Power treasure, and the other 7 people also chose treasures that were suitable for them. Instead of drawing water with a bamboo basket, it was better to get the benefits that they saw first. Soon, 3 hours passed. Follow me to the first round of the competition, the honorary captain said. Chapter 637. Ice Crystal, Sacred Realm. Who do you think will be the 1st and 2nd seed this time? Goddess Wakaman, who ranks 1st on the Glorious Stars list, will definitely be the 1st seed. As for the 2nd, Ronghua, and the 3rd, Wu Daozi, either of them could be the 2nd seed. I don't think so. Shirtian, who ranks 4th, and EMO, who ranks 5th, are also possible. Everyone was talking at once. The competition was about to begin. Everyone was looking forward to it, especially the top 10 sects and the 5 super forces. They hoped that their disciples could stand out. Even if they couldn't become the champion, as long as they passed the 1st round and entered the top 8, it meant that they would become the backbone of the Glory Alliance and have a bright future. On the other side, the 5th Hall Master of the Blood Tower was also waiting. Bone King, how strong is your disciple now? He Xiong asked. 9 blood, top tier. Bone King's cold expression was filled with pride. Not only can he secure his position as the seed, but he can also compete with Goddess Wakaman this time. I hope so, Yun Xing said. Bone King's face darkened. What do you mean? Yun Xing said. As far as I know, Wu Daozi's strength is quite terrifying. I heard that he has comprehended the top profound meaning. Impossible. Lord Ba was shocked. Even for a sane ascension stage martial artist, comprehending the top profound meaning is more difficult than ascending to heaven. That's why he has the strength to compete with Ronghua, Yun Xing said. Bone King's eyes turned cold. On the other side, Hong Ying's red lips opened slightly. It's starting. The ice crystal had already lit up. Lin Feng and the others stepped into the misty land. There were 6 paths that seemed to lead to the sky in front of them. The clouds were vast, mysterious, and mysterious. In the center of the misty land, there were already 20 figures standing. Each of them was a dragon among men, with extraordinary auras. Obviously, they had arrived long ago. The contestants are exempt. Lin Feng glanced at them. Basically, they were all ranked on the Glorious Stars list. Although he had never seen them in person, according to the characteristics and Saint Chi described his memory, he could instantly identify them. The only person he had seen and had a deep impression of was only one, Goddess Wakaman. She had an ethereal temperament, like a woman who didn't belong to the mortal world. Dressed in a white dress, she stood tall and unreachable. Just by standing there, she gave off an indescribable feeling of superiority, and no one dared to approach her. Their eyes met, and Lin Feng saw a hint of surprise in Fairy Ruo Meng's beautiful eyes. Seemed to be surprised by his arrival. Lin Feng smiled and nodded at Fairy Ruo Meng. She had changed. He has become stronger again, Lin Feng said to himself. She was so powerful that it seemed as if she was a sword herself. She didn't have this kind of feeling when she was in Dongling City. If he didn't see Chueishua's breakthrough, maybe he wouldn't know. But now, she has also condensed her sword heart, as expected of a number 1 on the Glorious Stars list. A super genius from the Celestial Pavilion. Only 18 years old, Fairy Ruo Meng's strength made people gasp in amazement. Ronghua, Wu Daozi, Shirtian. Even though the top geniuses of the 33 continents also possessed powerful auras, there was an invisible barrier between them and Fairy Ruo Meng. There was an entire realm of difference between them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Numerous gazes were cast over Ronghua, Shi Manzi, and Toby. You all looked at Lin Feng and Chueishua. After all, they were all core members of the Blood Tower. Shi Manzi's red dress was faintly discernible. She looked at Lin Feng with a smile in her phoenix eyes. Her sexy figure was like a gift from the heavens, making Lin Feng feel a little uncomfortable. 30 people gathered. Next, let's briefly introduce the rules of the first round. The honorary captain said, 2 of you are the first seed and the second seed. You will advance to the top 8 directly. You will be in the top half and the bottom half respectively. The remaining 6 will be eliminated by the remaining 8 people. 6 out of 8. Lin Feng looked at the 6 paths that seemed to lead to the sky. It seemed that the probability of advancing was much higher than in the second round. However, the opponents in the second round were much weaker than the opponents in the main round. Everyone here had the strength to pass the second round. Fortunately, he had advanced to the next stage, so his chances were much higher. First, announce the first and second seeds. The honorary captain glanced at everyone. Everyone held their breath and waited for the answer. Not only would they advance to the top 8, but they would also be the 2 strongest among them. Ronhua's eyes shone. His flaming hair carried pride and heroism. He coldly glanced at Goddess Wakaman, full of battle intent. He firmly believed that he would be one of them. But most of the time, things didn't go as planned. Top 8, Goddess Wakaman. Top 8, bottom half, Yi Xia. There was silence. Everyone was stunned by the answer, including Lin Feng, who knew Yi Xia's strength the best. He was also slightly surprised. Although he already had a high estimation of Yi Xia's strength, he didn't expect him to be ranked in the top 2 among all the participants. Boom! Ronhua's eyes were full of anger, like a furious beast. He looked at Yi Xia sharply, then at the honorary captain. Ronghua's veins were exposed. I object. Why? The honorary captain's expression didn't change. He coldly looked at Ronghua. This is the commander's personal judgment. You have no right to object. Why? Let me tell you, based on strength. Don't think too highly of yourself. Even if there's a third seed, it won't be you. Ronghua's eyes widened, and his clenched fists trembled. You can choose to withdraw from the competition, the honorary captain coldly said. Or you can prove to the commander that you have real strength. Ronghua's face was pale, and his teeth were almost broken. Bang! Ronghua was seething with anger. Just wait and see. I will definitely prove it to everyone. Ronghua, am the strongest. Not only those who participated in the main round. The Ice Crystal Sacred Realm was also shocked. No one thought that Yi Xia, who stood out in the semifinals, would directly advance and become a seed in the bottom half of the top 8. Ronghua, Wu Daozi, Shi Tian, and the other popular candidates were all rejected. Who is this Yi Xia? He doesn't even look 18 years old. Is this mountain kid really that powerful? This year's Battle of Glory Stars is too exciting. Everyone was discussing Yi Xia's identity. He had appeared out of nowhere and became a big dark horse. Now he had directly advanced to the top 8, like an ugly duckling turning into a swan. The 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower looked at each other. This kid from the Thousand Illusion Valley indeed has the battle strength of a saint. Lorba sighed. Stronger than Ronghua, it was enough to show how terrifying Yi Xia's strength was. Damn it! Bone King's face was pale. There are too many geniuses this year. Yun Xing shook his head. Our Blood Tower may become the stepping stone of other geniuses, paving the way for them. He Xiong and Honging nodded. The atmosphere was heavy. Chapter 638. Wu Daozi, Ronghua, Shi Tian, Gmo, Shimanzi, Qidabao. The honorary captain called out 6 names. The 6 people were slightly startled when their names were called. The honor captain glanced at them. The 6 of you can choose a path to enter. This is a simulation of a part of the periphery of the Nirvana world. The first round of the competition will last 7 days. There are 2 ways to advance. First, find the exit of the Nirvana world. The first one to walk out will advance. Let me remind you that the Nirvana world is full of danger. The ones who can eliminate you are not only your competitors. Second, eliminate your competitors. If you eliminate your first competitor, your glorious star ring will condense into an indigo color. If you defeat your second competitor, it will condense into a purple color. Every time you defeat an opponent, the color of your glorious star ring will increase by 1 level. If there is only 1 person left after 7 days, you will advance. If there are 2 or more people left after 7 days, the one with the higher color of the glorious star ring will win. In a split second, there was an uproar, especially the warriors who passed the second round. Many of them had a regretful look. If they did not exchange, their rings would already be indigo. It was the same as taking the lead in the competition. Lin Feng swept his gaze across everyone. They were all pure white like him. It was fair. So this is the advantage of the glory world in the competition. If time is up and there are 2 people who survive and their glorious star rings are the same color, what will happen? Someone suddenly asked. One-on-one battle. The winner will advance. The honorary captain said. Everyone nodded. The competition rules of the competition were clean and neat. So, the 6 of them are the strongest 6 of us? The one who spoke was a reckless man. His 2 whiskers were curled upwards. His arms were thick and strong. His muscles and bones were solid. He was the second to pass the second round. He was the 12th on the glorious star ranking. Yes. The honorary captain nodded. Shua, shua, shua. Pairs of eyes looked at the 6 people. Their fighting spirit was blazing. Obviously, to advance, they had to surpass one of the strongest 6 people. Wu Daozi had a smile on his face. There seemed to be nothing special about Roly-Poly's head. Molten Fire's expression became even more unsightly. When the honorable captain had announced his name, he had placed him behind Wu Daozi. This seemed to indicate something. Shi Tian's slender eyes were sharp and deep, like a ghost or a wolf. Needle Devil's body was filled with needles, and his face was half green and half black. Manzi's phoenix eyes were still smiling, and her tall and graceful figure was enough to make any man fall head over heels for her. It seemed that the weakest one was Chi de Bao, one of the twin treasures of the treasure-refining sect. It won't be easy to win against any of them, Lin Feng thought to himself. At this time, the other participants were also muttering in their hearts. Soon, the 6 of them each chose a passage to enter. In any case, all the passages looked the same from the outside. Out of 28, only 22 were left. What happens next is very fair. The honorary commandant took out a box, as if he was performing a magic trick. There are 24 balls in here. The numbers 1 to 6 have been written on them. You will go to whichever one you draw. Begin. Ice Crystal, Sacred Land. Sure enough, Wu Daozi is stronger than Mo. Yin Xing said. Impossible, there must be a mistake. I know Mo's strength the best. Bone King gritted his teeth. He is definitely at the peak of 9 blood. So, Wu Daozi is at least at the peak of 9 blood. Lord Ba's expression was solemn. Not only that, Hong Ying's beautiful eyes flickered. Manzi is also close to the peak of 9 blood. What? Everyone's expression changed. There were 2 people between Mo Hua and Shi Manzi, Shirtian of the Nirvana God sect. He and Needle Devil of the 10,000 Medicine Valley were ranked 4th and 5th on the Brilliant Stars list. In other words, the 2 of them were also likely to have peak 9 blood. The atmosphere was heavy. The confidence of the blood cult 5th Hall Master was shaken. Although 5 core members had entered the competition, there would only be 1 winner. However, there would only be 1 champion in the end, and it seemed that Fairy Ruomeng had the greatest chance, followed by Yixia. Wu Daozi was next, and Mo was 4th. In the previous Brilliant Stars battle, the number of people with the highest chance of winning was less than 1 in 100. Number 6, number 3, number 5. One by one, the number balls were drawn. Some were happy, some were hesitant, and most of them were solemn. Those who could enter the competition weren't stupid. Everyone knew who was the weakest. Treasure Refining Sect's Chi de Bao chose number 6. Therefore, those who drew number 6 were very happy. The best draw. Yeah, a youth with a pale complexion raised his eyebrows. Lin Feng recognized him. He was Qin Hao of the Winter Mountain Range, ranked 10th on the Brilliant Stars list. He left excitedly. For him, this was undoubtedly the biggest hope of entering the competition. But in fact, there were many other possibilities in the competition. For example, finding the exits of the 6 Forbidden Lands. Lin Feng had a clear image in his mind. That was the memory of the primordial heavenly Devil Chi Yin. The 6 most dangerous places of a Nirvana world were the places where the human race, the monster race, and the devil race fought fiercely. At the same time, there were endless opportunities and treasures, secret manuals of experts, heavenly treasures, and earthly treasures. That day, Chi Yin fought with Heavenly Demon Emperor Wuluan for a treasure in one of the 6 Forbidden Lands, the Gate of Heaven's Wrath. In the end, he died, in the Death Knell Graveyard. In Chiwan's memory, there were only these 2 death traps. The Death Knell Graveyard was the place where the Demon Clan's warriors were the most rampant. They had the most number and strength. The Death Knell Graveyard was one of the 6 death traps closest to the Chi Yu clan's territory. It could be said that Chi Yin was the most familiar with the Death Knell Graveyard. 1 in 3 chance. Lin Feng nodded. He had a 1 in 3 chance of getting the Death Knell Graveyard and the Gate of Heaven's Wrath. I'll go first, Chue Shui said to Lin Feng. Ha! Holding Chue Shui's hand, Lin Feng whispered in her ear, once you enter the 6 Forbidden Lands, immediately find the other contestants. After defeating one, go back the way you came. Don't look for the exit. Hide and wait for the 7 days to end. Number 6. The Honor Lieutenant reported. Lin Feng and Chue Shui looked at each other. The latter nodded and left. Chue Shui had undoubtedly drawn a good lot. The rest would depend on luck. Although Chue Shui's strength had increased after condensing the sword heart, she was only around 18th place out of the 28 contestants. If she wanted to advance, other than luck, she also needed some tactics. 4 of the Forbidden Lands had 5 contestants, and 2 had 4 contestants. Therefore, if Shui defeated one competitor, she would be undefeatable. He didn't know about the others, but in the Death Knell Graveyard and the Gate of Heaven's Wrath, it would be very difficult to find the exit. Just like what the Honor Lieutenant said, the 6 Forbidden Lands were filled with danger. The ones who could eliminate the contestants were not only the competitors. Shimanzi was in the 3rd passage, and Chitabeo was in the 6th passage. Everyone was fighting to get in, afraid that the number ball would be taken. But to Lin Feng, it wasn't much of a difference. Instead, it was more important to observe which contestant entered which passage. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. It's about time. Lin Feng walked up. The 3rd last lot. Shua Lin Feng took out the number ball. His eyes lit up. To be continued. Chapter 639. Number 1. Lin Feng also drew number 1. Ronghua chose the channel. The 5 palace masters of the Blood Tower looked at each other. So unlucky. Our Blood Tower is really unlucky in this battle of glory stars. Hong Ying giggled. Ronghua, Tuobiyu, and Lin Feng are in the same group. We lost 2 chances to advance. Bone King's face was cold. Your disciple is in the same group as by Jingxiu of the Killing Sword Palace. I don't see how good he is. He's better than your disciple. Hong Ying squinted her eyes. He had to take Wu Daozi's channel number 1. What did he want to prove? Now the 3 of them are killing each other. It's a joke. Besides, there's Residual Wolf from the Blood House. It's a fight to the death. Bone King snorted. They have no one to blame for their bad luck. For Ronghua, it doesn't matter who his opponent is. It's their bad luck to draw number 1. Don't be so complacent. Yun Xing said, if Ronghua is eliminated, Bone King, you'll have no place to hide your face. Ronghua is eliminated? Bone King was startled and then laughed. What a joke. Who can eliminate him? Tuobiyu or Residual Wolf? You don't think Lin Feng can eliminate Ronghua, do you? Don't make me laugh. Yun Xing, Group of Death. Fortunately, this guy drew the number 1 ball. Let him die. The remaining 2 secretly praised their good luck. In the end, there were 4 balls with numbers 3, 4, and 5. No matter which one drew, it was better than the number 1 ball. Even if they drew Wu Daozi's number, at least there were no particularly strong warriors in that channel. But channel number 1, Ronghua, who ranked number 1 on the Glorious Stars list, was there. Residual Wolf, who ranked number 8 on the Glorious Stars list, and Tuobiyu, who ranked number 9 on the Glorious Stars list, were in the group of death. First, there was Black Shadow Saber King, the 2nd son of Wang Qi-he, who was extremely unlucky. He became a stepping stone. Then Lin Feng followed in his footsteps. 2 pairs of eyes looked at Lin Feng sympathetically. They felt lucky and gloating. But Lin Feng didn't care. Passage 1. Ronghua, Tuobiyu, 2 9 blood assassins. I've long wanted to meet them. Today's draw was pretty good. Holding a number ball, Lin Feng stepped forward. Unlike the others, he had joined the Battle of Brilliance for 2 reasons. Firstly, he had challenged Blood Shadow, and, secondly, he wanted to challenge himself. There is nothing more challenging than challenging the talented and powerful elite geniuses of the 33 continents than Blood Tower number 1. The current me, I already have the power to fight against them. Lin Feng was full of fighting spirit. He stepped into the swirling clouds and disappeared in an instant. The first round of the competition began. The tense melody caused the space to freeze, and ice crystals appeared. Every contestant was extremely cautious as they probed their surroundings. Only one person had his eyes closed, as if he was deep in thought. He had been standing in the same place for quite a while. One look and I can tell that you are a newcomer. It's normal to feel a bit depressed. After all, this is one of the 6 most dangerous places in the simulated Nirvana world. It's also quite impressive. That's right. If it were you, your legs would have turned to jelly. Everyone was talking about Lin Feng. With his eyes closed, Lin Feng remained motionless. However, he wasn't afraid. Instead, he carefully filtered Qi Wan's memories. This was an abandoned wilderness, and the air was filled with a thick stench of blood and gore. Mixed with the stench of wild beasts and blood, it was very desolate. This was the place where the demon race and the Yao race had fought. The Gate of Heaven's Wrath. Lin Feng's luck wasn't very good. He didn't draw the death knell graveyard that he was most familiar with, but drawing the Gate of Heaven's Wrath was a consolation prize. At least compared to the other four most dangerous places, Chi-Wan still had many memories of the Gate of Heaven's Wrath, but more of them were in the inner area. No. Lin Feng opened his eyes and shook his head. Chi-Wan had entered the inner area of the Gate of Heaven's Wrath. The outer area was just a transition for him, and he hadn't really explored it. He only knew two of the paths. The Gate of Heaven's Wrath was once the place where the Providence Sky Devil, the ancient ferocious beasts, and the ancient divine beasts fought. Many rare demon race, ferocious beasts, and divine beasts were left behind. The gravity here is amazing. It's more suitable for the strong demon race and the demon race who walk the path of ferocious God. Lin Feng started his journey. Although he didn't have any memories of this place, he already had a good understanding of the Gate of Heaven's Wrath. The demon race is good at using power and techniques. So am I. The increase in gravity increased the absolute power. Humans who leaned toward the arcane school had no advantage here. Instead, they would be inconvenienced by the increase in gravity. Boom! Lin Feng's blade fell. He Tang's explosive power was more terrifying than usual. A huge purple and black Dianbai exploded, and purple and black juice splattered everywhere. Lin Feng retreated as if he could predict the future, dodging directly. The purple and black Dianbai trembled violently. Ha! It turned into a ray of light. Oh! Lin Feng was slightly stunned. He suddenly felt a huge amount of heaven and earth energy surging out. The whirlpool body continued to absorb, and the extreming body also had a full meal in an instant. However, the emergence of heaven and earth energy only lasted for a moment. It quickly returned to normal and assimilated into the whole environment. Feeling the powerful energy in his body, Lin Feng remained motionless. It was comparable to the amount absorbed in a normal quarter of an hour. Although it's a simulation, it can't be generated out of thin air. It's gathered by heaven and earth energy, so when it's killed, heaven and earth energy will surge out and return to this world. Then it will continue to be driven by the glory realm and become a part of the glory realm. The energy is reused to form a cycle. Lin Feng nodded. The whole glory realm was self-contained. If I encounter this kind of essence with spirit again, I'll come to its side in an instant after killing it. At that moment, the amount absorbed is the most. Ice Crystal, Sacred Realm. The fifth hall master of the Blood Tower stared at the ice crystal of the Gate of Heaven's Wrath. Molten Fire, Tabiyu Lin Feng. 3 of the 5 contestants were from the Blood Tower. The first round of the Gate of Heaven's Wrath was completely a civil war among the Blood Tower. He's improved. Lord Bon nodded with satisfaction. He finally broke through to the first week stage. Yun Xing nodded. What's the use? At most, he's an 8-blood top combat power, not comparable to Tabiyu and Crippled Wolf. He's far from Molten Fire, Bone King said coldly. So sour. Hong Ying ridiculed. Lin Feng is only 0 years old, and he has 8-blood top combat power when he just entered the first week stage. His Saint Power attack also has 8-blood top combat power. It's easy for him to become a 9-blood killer. When he reaches the 9th rank in the first week stage, how can Molten Fire compare to his strength? His future is limitless. Lord Ba stroked his long beard and was very satisfied. Potential doesn't equal strength. No one knows what will happen in the future. Bone King said coldly. At least for now, he's far from Molten Fire. Stop arguing. Look, Lin Feng bumped into other contestants. Black Bear said, Atlas Studios, to be continued. Chapter 640. Their eyes met as the two of them met unexpectedly. Lin Feng looked at the familiar figure in front of him. He wore a black cloak, had blade-like eyebrows, and a slender body. There was a bolt of lightning on his forehead, making him look even more masculine. It was the second son of Thunderbolt Hall's helmsman, Black Shadow Saber King Liao. Long time no see, Brother Lin. Wang Liao's eyes burned. Lin Feng's expression froze as he said in a deep voice, "Did you betray me that day?" Wang Liao was taken aback. Lin Feng saw the instantaneous change in expression. His true eye sacred power could see through all lies. Wang Liao was stunned. What betrayal? Nothing. Lin Feng shook his head. Wang Liao frowned and asked, "Brother Lin, do you not treat me as a friend? Is there a misunderstanding between us? That day in East Spirit City, Brother Lin, did you—" Halfway through his sentence, Wang Liao clenched his right fist and pressed it against his lips. His brows were tightly knitted together as he vaguely understood something. It wasn't Wang Liao. At this moment, Lin Feng was 90% certain. He went straight to the point and took the initiative to ask questions to see Wang Liao's true reaction. If it was really him, there would definitely be some flaws and hesitation. Furthermore, he would often deny it. However, Wang Liao's reaction was baffled. He had deliberately avoided the topic during his second probe. If Wang Liao had a guilty conscience, he wouldn't continue asking. Normal people would feel guilty. Of course, Wang Liao was the one who invited him to join Thunderbolt Hall back then. There was no reason for him to shoot himself in the foot. Furthermore, Wang Liao was an open and upright person. He wasn't a scheming cultivator. His intuition and experience told him that it wasn't him. Shen Xian, Luo Yunling, Lin Feng thought to himself. The two of them were the most suspicious. Wang Liao looked up and stared at Lin Feng. Therefore, it wasn't a coincidence that you were surrounded by the Eastcom army when you killed A.O. Lin. It was an ambush. Lin Feng answered frankly. Only I know where Crane Cry Tower is. The three from Thunderbolt Hall know. However, A.O. Lin was already waiting for me. Waiting for me. Wang Wei's expression was solemn as he nodded. I will go back and investigate this matter thoroughly. I will naturally give Brother Lin an explanation. Looking at Lin Feng, Wang Tuo's face was full of shame. I didn't think that I would be used by someone and put Brother Lin in a difficult situation. My heart is filled with guilt. In today's battle, I hope Brother Lin can forgive me. Just treat it as me apologizing for what happened that day. After saying that, a black light flashed in his hand. In a split second, pung, the brilliant star ring shattered. Wang Lai's figure transformed into a stream of light and disappeared. Lin Feng stared blankly, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Wang Wei was truly a sentimental person. The ice crystal's sacred domain was in an uproar. Lin Feng and Wang Zhuo were the first group to face off against each other. Just when everyone was looking forward to a fierce battle, no one thought that Wang Zhuo would directly forfeit. He had obtained the qualification for the main competition with great difficulty, yet he gave it up so easily. It was shocking. It can't be. Can anyone tell me what happened just now? Were the two of them negotiating? Inside the ice crystal, only the mirage could be seen, but no sound could be heard. However, the two's secret conversation was obvious to all. Judging from the process, it really did seem like they were negotiating. After the discussion ended, Wang Zhuo forfeited and helped Lin Feng. Right now, Lin Feng's brilliant star ring had turned indigo. A smart approach. The two of them are the weakest in the first group. There's no need to fight to the death. There are many hidden places. Lin Feng can find a place to hide. Sitting on the mountain and watching the tigers fight, Ronghua, Remnant Wolf, and Tooba you will fight each other. The possibility of a fisherman reaping the benefits is very high. Tisk, it's too shameless to win like this. You can't say that. If you don't have enough strength, you have to use your wits. Blindly fighting with brute force is called bravery, but no strategy. According to you, what's the point of holding the brilliant star battle? Arguing with each other, their faces flushed red. But Lin Feng couldn't hear it. He wouldn't change his mind because of this. Wang Wei's forfeit was just a small interlude. In fact, even if he didn't forfeit, Wang Wei had no chance of winning. Lin Feng wouldn't hide. Participating in the brilliant star battle was the most exciting and interesting thing for him. There was nothing more than a challenge. Challenging those high and mighty powerful enemies. Ronghua, Remnant Wolf, Toba Yu. Lin Feng was full of fighting spirit. Boom! Lin Feng smashed another purple-black cypress. This man-eating trees attack was extremely strong and poisonous. It was a type of essence with spirit commonly seen in the gate of heaven's wrath. It had countless branches to bind its prey, and there were barbs on the branches. Not only could it suck blood, but it could also paralyze and release poison. Against the huge demons, the demon god beast was simply unstoppable. Finally, it released a purple-black poison to kill its prey and absorb its nutrients. Swish! Lin Feng's figure flashed past. It was very close to the cypress. It was very dangerous, but Lin Feng was very confident in his attack power. At the same moment, the purple-black cypress exploded. Lin Feng's eyes widened, and a huge amount of heaven and earth energy was directly absorbed. This time he was prepared, and even the Dragon Pearl Chain and Thunder Kuei Pot had some gains. It's equivalent to an hour of cultivation absorption. Lin Feng smiled slightly. This was the essence with spirit of heaven rank level 1. If it was level 2, it would absorb even more heaven and earth energy. Soon, I'll be able to reach level 4. Ice Crystal's Sacred Realm. What is he doing? Lord Ba frowned. I'm just having fun. I'm in a good mood. Hong Ying shrugged her shoulders with a charming smile on her face. Lin Feng in the ice crystal shattered a purple-black cypress. The branches danced in the air as he flashed close, as if he was calculating the explosion of the essence with spirit and showing off his strength. Because, in the eyes of others, it was meaningless. Ignorant. Bone King sneered. Black Bear scratched his head. It's not good to waste holy chi and power like this, is it? Indeed, humans were different from demons and monsters. They had smaller bodies, stronger senses, and flexibility. Lin Feng could completely avoid those essence with spirits and preserve his strength. But he didn't avoid them, and even provoke them forcefully. If it was a real gate of heaven's wrath, it would be fine. Even if he succeeded in killing them, he wouldn't get the essence with spirits, because in the end, they would all turn into heaven and earth energy and disappear. A lion needs to go all out to catch a rabbit. Bone King looked at Mo, his figure on the ice crystal, and showed a satisfied expression. Unless he had no choice, Mo basically wouldn't make a move, even if these essence with spirits were just flames to him. This was a bloody killer, preserving his strength, going all out for every mission and every battle. Lin Feng advanced steadily. He didn't care whether others understood or not. So far, he had killed 36 essence with spirits, which save him a day and a half. Little drops make a mickle. For him now, time was money and strength. The 3-year period was getting closer and closer. He needed to improve his strength enough to face the calamity of Earth. Oh, Lin Feng looked ahead. Chapter 641. A faint black mist curled up. Lin Feng's nose twitched. It's demonic energy. It was exactly the same as the demonic energy in the demon realm. The source of the demonic energy was the demons. The demons would release demonic energy when they absorbed and cultivated demon cores. Therefore, the stronger the demonic energy, the stronger the demons would be. In this virtual gate of heaven's wrath in the glory world, he was not sure if there would be demons, but one thing was certain. Since there was the essence with spirit, then there must be demons. Demons were a variant of the demons. Legend has it that the progenitor heavenly demon fought with ancient beasts and ancient mythical beasts. Blood spilled over the gate of heaven's wrath, and the blood essence of the progenitor heavenly demon turned everything. After thousands of years, some objects that were once stained with blood essence, such as rocks, turned into rock demons. Sand turned into sand demons. Copper pieces turned into bronze demons. The most terrifying thing is the treasure, especially the heaven-ranked treasure, which has its own spirit. Lin Feng walked forward along the black mist. For him, who cultivated the dark devil holy chi, the demon territory was actually an excellent geographical advantage. He went in. Black Bear said, "Stupid." Bone King snorted. A newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. Master Ba stroked his long beard. I hope he doesn't encounter the residual wolf. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes flickered. The residual wolf is very smart. He deliberately chose the demon realm as the battlefield. It is definitely a wise decision to wait here. After all, his strength is on par with Toba. If he fights here, he can take advantage of the geographical advantage. Yun Xing said, "Man proposes, but God disposes." The demons in the Devil Valley are rampant. He is now in a little trouble. Bone King sneered. "You don't think these demons can kill the residual wolf, do you? It depends on luck." Master Ba said, "If Lin Feng can find the residual wolf's trace early, he may be able to use his holy power to control objects to attack the residual wolf. He may be able to severely injure him. Coupled with the strange attacks of the demons, he may have a chance to win." Everyone held their breath and stared at the ice crystal. At this time, Lin Feng seemed to have a pair of eyes. He was moving quickly towards the residual wolf. That's it. Yin Xing's eyes moved. Above the ice crystal, the residual wolf was besieged by 7 monsters, although they were only heaven rank level 1 monsters. Their attacks were singular, but when they worked together to display their advantages, they were quite difficult to deal with. The sand demon had no fixed form, constantly binding the crippled wolf. The earth demon made the crippled wolf not dare to easily land on the ground. The attacking power of the 3 gigantic iron devils was unparalleled. The most frightening of all were the 2 bone devils, which possessed the strength of demonic beasts. The 2 little bone kings are so powerful. Hong uncovered her red lips and giggled. Bone King's face turned green. Lin Feng is courting death. Haven't you thought about it? Once Residual Wolf eliminates Lin Feng and hides with the Indigo Star ring in his hand, he is almost invincible. Therefore, Lin Feng must not lose. Lord Ba's expression was serious. Lin Feng is here. Yin Xing's voice caused everyone to tense up. Not only the 5th Hall Master of the Blood Tower, but also the warriors from other sects who were watching the battle were attracted by this scene. Residual Wolf was ranked 8th on the Brilliant Star list. But a year ago, he was only ranked 120th on the Brilliant Star list. But because he lost his right arm in a fierce battle, he had advanced by leaps and bounds in just 1 year. Sneak attack him, just like the sneak attack on a muscular man in the 2nd round. Residual Wolf is going to be in big trouble. Everyone pursed their lips tightly, waiting for Lin Feng's attack. They were looking forward to it. The kind of battle where the weak overthrew the strong made them excited. In the 2nd round, it was Lin Feng's sudden attack with Saint Power that pushed Lu Yiming off the cliff, and he died without a burial place. In the end, Lin Feng was invincible and easily advanced all the way. But this time Lin Feng, however, stood still. Like an outsider watching, he just stood there and looked at Residual Wolf. He was motionless and had no intention to attack. This scene not only extinguished the fire in everyone's heart, but also the 5th Hall Master of the Blood Tower. Their eyes were wide open, each bigger than the other. What is he doing? Attack, attack. Why does Blood Killer talk about benevolence and morality? It's over. The opportunity was fleeting. Residual Wolf soon discovered the existence of Lin Feng. Although he was puzzled, he began to be cautious. But Lin Feng really did not intend to sneak attack Residual Wolf. Because unlike the 2nd round, there was no obstacle here. Only Residual Wolf was his opponent. 12th level of Saber Technique. One-handed. His saber is the same as mine. There is an invisible force driving his saber technique. Lin Feng saw it very clearly. Residual Wolf, who only had 1 left arm, had a force in his heart that was madly driving his saber technique. This was the great way of saber, the power of the heart. He learned it from Xiang Yu and named it Overlord's Battle Power. Residual Wolf's saber was fierce and fierce, just like a wounded and disabled demon wolf. It will be interesting to fight with him. Faced with the siege of 7 demons, Residual Wolf survived. Although he was a little injured, a pair of bloodthirsty wolf-like eyes glanced at Lin Feng. His movements were agile and neat, and he came to where Lin Feng was in an instant. "You missed a very good opportunity," Residual Wolf said in a deep voice. "I don't think so," Lin Feng said. Residual Wolf's eyes were cold. "You will pay for your stupidity. Although I am only at 70% of my strength, you are definitely not my opponent." Lin Feng smiled. "You are not trying to provoke me And want me to wait for you to recover to your full strength, are you? Residual Wolf's mouth was cold, and a bloodthirsty light flashed. His only left arm held the saber, and a bloody aura rose spontaneously. No need. Residual Wolf burst out instantly. Clang! Lin Feng unsheathed the black blade at the same time. Residual Wolf's strength was already clear in his heart. He was right about one thing. Now, he was indeed only at 70% of his strength, or even less. Residual Wolf, who had 9 blood at his peak, had now dropped 2 levels. It was difficult for him to even enter the initial stage of 9 blood. 8 blood is at the top, just right to fight. Lin Feng's fighting spirit was clear. Now he was at the 3rd level of Zizhou. Even if he did not use the titanium-grade body, his physical fitness was comparable to the 8th level of Zizhou. It was comparable to the current Residual Wolf. Lin Feng would not let Residual Wolf recover his strength. He was not a saint. Once Residual Wolf recovered to the 9th blood, it meant that he had to go all out to fight. But the titanium-grade body was different from other holy qi. It needed time to recover. Lin Feng did not intend to use this trump card if it was not necessary. Using the saber to fight the saber. Blood Mansion, ranked 4th among the top 10 sects, 1st in saber techniques. How strong is it? The image of Qiyu appeared behind Lin Feng. The power was ferocious. In this gate of heaven's wrath, the power of the 7 limits could be even stronger. Driven by the 3rd level overlord strength, Lin Feng's saber pressed forward like a mountain. The moment they clashed, Residual Wolf's expression changed greatly. The ordinary-looking young man in front of him had completely overwhelmed him in terms of aura. 7 limits landslide. Lin Feng's domineering aura was natural. The 3rd level overlord strength was truly displayed. First appearance of glory. Chapter 642. Saber against saber. It was a hardy battle, like the collision of meteors. Everyone in the ice crystal sacred land was excited, and their hearts were burning. They thought that Lin Feng was only talented and had powerful saint power attacks, but the battle with the crippled wolf showed them Lin Feng's saber. It was a domineering saber, a real saber. The Blood Mansion, the number 1 saber in the 33 continents. The crippled wolf was recognized as the strongest saber on the Glorious Stars list. However, he was defeated. He was defeated by Lin Feng's saber, not because he was weak, but because he was proud of his saber. He was defeated. Lin Feng's saber is so powerful. I didn't expect the crippled wolf to lose in the end. And from the beginning to the end, Lin Feng didn't use any saint power attacks. He defeated the crippled wolf with pure saber techniques. He's really powerful. This battle was earth-shattering. Lin Feng's saber was deeply imprinted in the minds of every martial artist who watched the battle in front of the ice crystal, including Ao Jianwei. Even though he hated Lin Feng to the bone, with his vicious eyes, he could naturally see that Lin Feng's potential and talent were different from the rest. I didn't expect that Ao Jianwei would be wrong one day. Ao Jianwei's face was cold and gloomy. He only thought that Lin Feng had some talent in Bai Yunju, but it wasn't obvious. Moreover, Lin Feng didn't practice saber, so he wasn't tempted. He didn't expect that the insignificant person who was once like an ant under his feet would grow to such an extent in just a year. Even if he didn't want to admit it, he knew that Ao Lin died in Lin Feng's hands. However, Lin Feng's current strength made him even more determined to kill. The day the Battle of the Glorious Stars ends will be the day you die. Ao Jianwei's eyes were as cold as swords, and he didn't hide his killing intent. There was a faint sense of crisis in his heart. It was like nurturing a tiger, and a dragon was slowly growing. He couldn't give him any more chances. Lin Feng, you must die. Ao Jianwei clenched his fists so tightly that his veins were exposed. As expected of the expert ranked 8th on the Glorious Stars list. If he was in his peak condition, it would not be easy to defeat him. Lin Feng sighed softly. At the end of the battle, the crippled wolf was already exhausted. It had consumed a lot of its holy qi. It had lost too much of its strength in the battle against the 7 demons who had a tacit understanding with each other. Actually, It's just that he's never met a demon before. Lin Feng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. If it was him, when she encountered formless demons, they would not know where to start, such as earth demons, sand demons, and so on. However, they were the same as ordinary heavenly demons and had demon cores. It was just that the position was not at the purple palace in the chest. The devil chi that permeated the Devil Valley was released by these devil creatures. However, the gate of heaven's wrath is indeed a good place. Feeling the weight of his body and the powerful gravitational pressure, Lin Feng did not feel any discomfort. This place was very suitable for warriors with strong physical bodies, and it was suitable for the explosion of power. The saber technique of the crippled wolf was mainly fast, but his saber technique was from the Chiyu clan. 7 limits, mixed with the profoundness of strength techniques. He's not leaving. Why is he still leaving? Lin Feng's glorious star ring is already purple. He's already 1 foot into the top 8. That's right. No matter who wins, Ronghua or Tuobiyu, it's only an indigo glorious star ring. As long as Lin Feng hides, unless they can find the exit within the time limit, Lin Feng can directly advance after 7 days with the color level of the glorious star ring. There was a lot of discussion and everyone was talking loudly. After eliminating 2 people in a row, Lin Feng had already occupied the high platform and was in an invincible position. This Devil Valley where Devil Chi grew was a good place to hide. Lin Feng could completely hide and wait for 7 days to pass. It was not easy to deliberately find a person in the vast impasse. Ha! I say, Bone King, your face is blue now, right? Hong Ying teased. As long as Lin Feng, this little guy, survives 7 days, your disciple will be eliminated. Bone King's face was blue, and his cheekbones trembled. Impossible. Master Ba nodded. Let's see what Lin Feng decides. Judging from his battle with Crippled Wolf, his strength should be between the peak of 8 blood and the beginning of 9 blood. He also has holy power attacks that are impossible to guard against. If used well, he can defeat an opponent who has just entered 9 blood. Bear King said in a muffled voice, Tuobiyu's combat power is ordinary 9 blood, while Ronghua's 9 blood is the peak. Lord Ba stroked his long beard. So, if Lin Feng is smart, he should choose to hide and wait for the 7 days to pass. But Lord Ba sighed and shook his head. The palace masters also understood. From a standpoint of Blood Tower, Lin Feng's advancement was actually the worst result. After entering the top 8, every battle was a real collision. With Lin Feng's 8 blood peak strength, who could win? Lin Feng's injury was not serious. In addition, with the whirlpool body and abundant heaven and earth energy, Lin Feng had recovered in just a few hours. Under the anxious gaze of the 5th Palace Master, Lin Feng did not choose to leave the valley. Instead, he very wisely stayed in the Devil's Valley. He began to cultivate. This guy's too shameless. You're shameless. Your whole family is shameless. This is called having a brain, okay? The competition rules are like this, so we have to adapt to the situation. Well said, if Ronghua and Tuobiyu have the ability, they can find Lin Feng or find the exit of the Gate of Heaven's Wrath and win. If it were you, would you need to fight recklessly when victory is in your hands? Besides, Lin Feng is already very gentlemanly. In the previous battle, he didn't take advantage of others' difficulties, but eliminated Crippled Wolf openly. Everyone had their own opinions, but basically, there were more people who supported Lin Feng. After all, Lin Feng represented a group of people with weaker strength, which was easier to resonate with. Looking at Lin Feng killing monsters in the Devil's Valley without any intention to go out, the 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower was also helpless, but he also knew that for Lin Feng, this was definitely a smart and wise decision. Chi. Lin Feng killed happily. In fact, to deal with monsters, as long as he found the right weakness, they were much easier to deal with in essence with spirits without spiritual awareness. For example, the rock demon, with its cumbersome body, was almost a live target, allowing the 33 hands to attack. Many monsters are prevalent in the Devil's Valley, far more suitable for cultivation than outside. Lin Feng killed easily. The heaven and earth energy produced by heaven rank level 1 monsters was the same as essence with spirits, but they were easy to kill. The most important thing was that there were quite a lot of monsters. The efficiency was more than 10 times more than looking for essence with spirits. An hour in the Devil's Valley was equivalent to a whole day of cultivation outside. Why not do it? On the third day in the Devil's Valley, Lin Feng skillfully killed sand demons and absorbed the heaven and earth energy. At this time, the earth spirit in his body trembled slightly, and a tyrannical energy changed from transformation, integrating into every cell, skin, and bone in his body. Lin Feng's mouth drew a satisfied smile. Zhou Zizhou, 4th rank. Chapter 643. In the ice crystal, a strange man with needles all over his body was crazily attacking. His fist wind carried a green poisonous gas, and his palm energy was pitch black. Anyone who touched it would be poisoned. His whole body swelled. Looking carefully, some of the 108 needles on his body had completely penetrated his skin. His horrifying face was half green and half black, showing a strong suppressive force. Thousand Medicine Valley, Needle Demon. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. As Needle Demon smashed his opponent, the brilliant star ring on his hand turned purple. The entire ice crystal sacred land was in an uproar. In the first round of the competition, Needle Demon had a total of 4 contestants. 2 were eliminated by him, and the other died to the essence with spirit. Needle Demon has advanced. The first to advance, his strength is well-deserved. Awesome. The praises were endless. Indeed, Needle Demon deserved this praise because he dominated with absolute suppression and advanced to the top 8. The second to advance was only a little slower than Needle Demon. Somewhat unexpectedly, when Manzi's graceful figure appeared under her red dress, it caused the ice crystal sacred crystal to exclaim. Among the 6 seeded contestants, Manzi's strength was only higher than Chi DeBeo, and the possibility of her being eliminated was quite high. But in the end, Manzi only eliminated 1 person and easily advanced. Manzi's performance is very good. Hong Yingmei smiled and was in a good mood, so our blood tower has 2 spots in the top 8. There were only 3 people left in the Heaven's Wrath sect, and it had become an internal battle. No matter who won in the end, 2 spots in the top 8 were in their hands. 8 spots a quarter. It was enough to see the foundation of the blood tower. Bai shook his head. In the last competition, we took 3 spots in the top 8. It's not the same. Our luck is a bit bad this time, Yin Xing said. 2 is not bad, He Xiong said. Manzi's advancement made the palace masters in a good mood. Only Bone King's face was gloomy, and he was not happy. From what Ice Crystal saw, his disciple Rong Hua was almost the same as him. The competition was faster than half, but he did not even see half a shadow. Rong Hua is too careless. Bai Yi frowned slightly. He passed by the Devil Valley once, but did not enter. He Xiong said, at present, Lin Feng has the highest possibility of advancing. Shameless. Bone King gritted his teeth. Yun Xing glanced at him and said, as a hall master, you should take the Blood Tower as your foundation. Don't meddle in personal factors. Bone King, you shouldn't insult a core member like that. Don't lecture me. Bone King was furious. Our Shuelo has been able to stand in the 33 continents for so long because of strength, absolute strength. I don't agree with cowards like Lin Feng who use tricks to avoid battle. I don't agree either. Hong Ying smiled. Bone King's eyes lit up. Everyone looked over. Hong Ying smiled leisurely. I don't agree with what Bone King said. First of all, Blood Assassin should focus on completing the mission. Ignoring the ashen-faced Bone King, Hong Ying smiled faintly. Secondly, Lin Feng is definitely not weak. He just lacks time. With his potential, I don't think it will be difficult for him to reach the pinnacle of 9 bloodlines. In the end, Hong Ying's voice trailed off as she pointed with her lotus-like almond-shaped finger, who said that Lin Feng avoided the fight. Everyone was stunned. They looked at the ice crystal. At this time, Lin Feng was getting closer and closer to the border of the Devil's Valley. Lin Feng penetrated the Devil's Valley. First, it was because his strength had risen to the 4th level. Second, after 3 days of slaughter, most of the demons in the Devil's Valley had been killed. Third, as Hong Ying had said, from the beginning to the end, Lin Feng had no intention of avoiding the battle, even if, therefore, he was defeated and lost the qualification to advance. He only wanted to fight. He wanted to challenge stronger opponents and challenge himself. Lin Feng was never willing to be lonely. He had a heart that thirsted for passion and challenge. The exit is more than 80% likely to be at the place where the essence with spirit is the strongest. Lin Feng knew very well that, as the honorary captain said, the competition couldn't be judged by luck. Whoever was lucky enough to find the exit would advance. The possibility was too small. Therefore, either the exit was very difficult to find, or the exit was very dangerous. This was the real criterion of advancing based on strength. I believe, Ronghua and Tuoba, you are looking for the exit now. Lin Feng smiled slightly. Compared to searching aimlessly for the two in the huge gate of Heaven's Wrath, it was more reliable to go to the exit. Because of them, 10 of them were also looking for the exit. After all, Crippled Wolf and Wang Wei had been eliminated. Danger Zone. The reason why it was called a danger zone was because of the strange terrain. This was a natural barrier and maze. If one wasn't careful, one would get lost. The demon aura in the Devil's Valley was nothing. The other regions were like boundless deserts that stretched as far as the eye could see, and they were at least 10 times larger than the Sahara Desert. Clouds and mist rose in spirals, and thick fog was all too common. Marsh gas, tornadoes, wild thunder, and lightning were enough to make people dizzy. However, it's here, the Black Demon Forest. Lin Feng searched for half a day in the periphery and finally found it. In front of him was a huge forest. It was pitch black and the air was filled with poison. It was dangerous at first glance. Everyone knew that the area with the most essence with spirit was the forest. However, the more dangerous it was, the easier it was to find the exit. In Chiwan's memory, there was an unchanging path here. It left the periphery of the gate of Heaven's Wrath and went straight to the inside. However, it was not easy to pass through the Black Demon Forest, because there were a huge number of monsters and essence with spirits. The more the better. Lin Feng smiled. Black Demon Forest. Huff, huff. Molten Fire was panting heavily. Sweat dripped from his forehead. Even with his strength, he felt tired. He knew that the Black Demon Forest was a great threat. Bang! The flame aura rose again. His fists were like 2 fireballs. Molten Fire's eyes were full of obsession and confidence. I'm the strongest human genius. As long as I can leave this monster forest, the exit will definitely appear. No one can stop me. Unlike Lin Feng, Molten Fire had made up his mind to find the exit from the beginning. On the way to find the exit, he would kill the other contestants if he met them. If he couldn't find them, at least he could take his fate in his own hands. He firmly believed that he could find the exit. At the periphery of the gate of Heaven's Wrath, Molten Fire didn't explore the terrain. Instead, he stood at the highest point of view, including the overall situation. He analyzed, experimented, and filtered out a few possibilities. This forest was his 3rd experiment. The first 2 attempts had failed. With Bone King as his teacher, Molten Fire knew a little about the 6 great Dangerlands. The real passage wouldn't change. Difficult, it's right. I'm sure that the monster forest this time is correct. Rank 4th. Molten Fire, am not convinced. His proud back view was burning with rage. Molten Fire disappeared into the darkness. Like a furious fire dragon, he was heading toward the end. Chapter 644. Killing God Shi Tian. As expected of the killing god Shi Tian's disciple. He's so strong. This guy's too crazy. He killed 3 out of the 4 contestants. His Brilliant Star ring has turned black. I think he's not just ranked 4th on the Brilliant Star list. I think so too. A young man with sword-like eyebrows stepped out of the ice crystal. His slender eyes were sharp and deep. His wolf-like eyes made people's hearts tremble. He had 10 sword scabbards on his waist. He was A.O. Jianwei's favorite disciple, Shi Tian. At this moment, more than half of the first round had passed. More than half of the contestants had advanced. Needle Demon, Shimanzi, Shur Tion. Adding the first seed Goddess Wakaman and the second seed Yi Xia, 5 of the top 8 contestants were already set. More and more people looked at the gate of Heaven's Wrath. Especially Lin Feng, who had just left the Devil Valley, had unexpectedly entered the Black Demon Forest. And before him, Imohua had just entered. Originally, Imohua had missed the Devil Valley and missed his chance. Who would have thought? The gears of fate started to turn again. Do you think Lin Feng is an idiot? He clearly has the advantage, but he still wants to die. He's extremely stupid. His confidence swelled after defeating Qin Lang. He didn't even think about the possibility of him winning if Qin Lang wasn't injured. Sigh. Imohua got the top 8 spot for nothing. The sounds of ridicule were unceasing. Angry that he didn't fight. Sad that he was unfortunate. Everyone was puzzled by Lin Feng's actions. He clearly had the advantage. And Imohua and Tooba, you were desperately looking for the exit. Why did Lin Feng have to force his way in? How could the exit be so easy to find? Do you think Lin Feng is smart or stupid? Lord Ba asked. Idiot. Bone King snorted coldly. However, his expression was relaxed, as if he was watching a show. He's an interesting little guy. Hong Ying giggled. Yin Xing didn't say anything. He Xiong smiled and said, I like him a lot, Yin Xing. Can you give him to me? Hearing this, all the palace lords were stunned. He Xiong, you want to take him as your disciple? Hong Ying's smile disappeared. Black Bear nodded. Many pairs of curious eyes looked at He Xiong. Among the 5th palace masters, He Xiong had never been in charge of anything. He lived in seclusion, immersed himself in cultivation, and only did what he liked. Countless talented blood assassins wanted to become Black Bear's disciple, but they were all rejected. But now Black Bear. Yet, he had personally asked for a disciple. Why? Yin Xing asked. Black Bear looked at Ice Crystal and said, He is to my liking. Lin Feng drove straight in. Sizzle. Sizzle. The black poisonous gas was everywhere, but it could not get close to Lin Feng. The indestructible Thunder Pearl armor stored Lin Feng's Thunder Dragon Saint Chi, which was a level 1 Saint Chi. Therefore, even the indestructible Thunder Pearl armor's level had increased slightly. Although it was still a lower heaven level armor, it was still one of the best. The 33 indestructible lightning beads consumed energy to resist the black poison gas. Lin Feng ran in the correct direction in his mind. Along the way, all kinds of demonic creatures and essence with spirits bowed their heads, unable to resist. Whoosh! The vortex absorbed the rich energy, and Lin Feng smiled. Heaven rank level 2. The first heaven rank level 2 essence with spirit. The purity of the heaven and earth energy. This one is several hours more than my cultivation. Lin Feng was very satisfied. As he guessed, the heaven and earth energy of heaven rank level 2 was far better than that of heaven rank level 1. After entering the Black Demon Forest for half a day, almost 1/3 of it had passed. In terms of density of demonic creatures, this place is far inferior to the Devil's Valley. However, the Devil's Valley only has the most demonic creatures on the first day. After that, the efficiency will get worse. After all, the Devil's Valley was only so big. The efficiency of killing on the 3rd day was very slow, so Lin Feng decided to leave. The Black Demon Forest covered a large area. Therefore, the demonic creatures were relatively scattered, but there were also essence with spirits here. The efficiency will get higher and higher. Lin Feng smiled. Different from Lin Feng, who walked and hunted, Melting Fire would avoid if he could, and fight if he could not. But because he did not know the way, he fumbled forward. Although Melting Fire entered the Black Demon Forest earlier than Lin Feng, his progress was slowly being caught up by Lin Feng. Melting Fire was in the form of an arc or even an 8, but Lin Feng was moving forward in a straight line. The gears of fate seemed to be slowly intersecting. Boom! With a mighty and boundless punch, flames burst out. Melting Fire directly killed a demonic creature and burned it with raging flames. It was not a special skill, but with his strength, it was easy to completely destroy a heaven rank level 1 demonic creature. It's the 5th day. Melting Fire frowned. It would be a lie to say that he was not worried. Until now, he had not seen any contestant, and the brilliant star ring on his hand was still white. It meant that within the 7-day time limit, unless he found the exit, otherwise he would really be laughed at. My luck is really bad. The veins on Melting Fire's forehead bulged as he cursed. In his heart, he was unusually irritated. He was already desperate. If he could not find anything after passing through this monster forest, then he would have to face tragic bad luck. I won't lose. I'm the strongest genius of the Blood Tower. How can I not even enter the top 8? Melting Fire gritted his teeth. Suddenly, his whole body quivered, as if he was enlightened. Melting Fire turned around and looked back. In the distance, a figure flashing with lightning was walking over, holding a giant saber in his hand. His eyes were bright and full of fighting spirit. The most eye-catching thing was the brilliant star ring on his hand, which made Melting Fire's eyes widen. Bright purple. The ice crystal sacred land was in an uproar. As early as when Lin Feng entered the Black Demon Forest, he had already attracted everyone's attention, and now the two finally met. Lin Feng's good luck has come to an end. What is this called? Seeking his own death. There is no door to hell, but he still wants to break in. Melting Fire is a super expert ranked first on the Brilliant Star list, second only to the Goddess Wakaman. Compared to him, Lin Feng is like the difference between a firefly and the sun and the moon. The difference in strength is too big. I can't bear to watch. Why do you think Lin Feng has to look for trouble? Sighs, laments, sarcasm, all kinds of voices were heard. The 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower stared at the ice crystal, but did not think too much. In fact, they hoped that Lin Feng could meet Melting Fire. From a standpoint of the Blood Tower, this was undoubtedly the best result. Melting Fire defeated Lin Feng. Whether to Oba, you could meet Melting Fire in the end, at least the Blood Tower would be promoted to the strongest one. It's a battle worth watching. I can see all of Lin Feng's unique skills and foundation. After the Battle of the Brilliant Star, I will focus on training him. A battle without suspense. Because both of them were core members of the Blood Tower, the 5th Palace Master thought he knew them well. However, there was only one person who really knew Lin Feng. Let me see how strong you are. Ao Jianwei's eyes were cold and gloomy. Mortal Enemy. Chapter 645. Ronghua. Lin Feng looked at the young man in front of him. The strongest genius of the Blood Tower, the strongest of the 3-9 blood assassins. The son of the Fire Dragon had long been famous in the Blood Tower. You're Lin Feng. Ronghua also recognized Lin Feng. When Lin Feng was still a newcomer, Ronghua, as the boss of Blood Tower No. 1, wanted to recruit Lin Feng. Unfortunately, Lin Feng and Shou Baibu had teeth marks, so he did not succeed. Ronghua did not care. Who would have thought that in just half a year, this newcomer was already standing in front of him? He was even closer to the top 8 than he was. Purple Brilliance Star Ring. Ronghua took a deep breath and looked at Lin Feng with a complicated look. He said in a low voice, "Why don't you hide?" Lin Feng smiled. "Because I want to fight with you." Glory was just an empty title. For Lin Feng, the real purpose of participating in the Brilliant Star battle was only a challenge. Boom. Bang. Lin Feng and Ronghua looked at each other. Their fighting spirit was burning, and their momentum was not giving way to each other. A battle between the strong. I won't be merciful to you. Ronhua's whole body was burning. That's exactly what I want. Lin Feng's eyes were bright. In an instant, a layer of silver lines covered his whole body. His bones and muscles made a sound. Lin Feng's body changed rapidly. With his current strength, it was easy for him to use the 7th level of the titanium grade body. He did not even need the help of the true Dragon Saint power to strengthen his bloodline. His momentum increased instantly, like an ancient beast waking up. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The silver light closed, mixed with a faint golden light. Lin Feng's change stunned Ronghua. In an instant, black haze. Lin Feng's dark devil, Saint Chi, surged out. The overwhelming power was enough to completely explode in the black demon forest. Accompanied by the poisonous fog, the whirlpool rotated and the power increased instantly. Lin Feng had used his real power because Ronghua was very strong. Landslide, great weight without edge. It was an absolute pressure. This was the strongest saber move of the demon race that originated from the Chiyu race. It was a display of strength that could bring out the limits of one's strength in this gate of heavenly wrath, where gravity was strong. The power of the 7 limits had increased by at least 20%. As for the second style, Landslide, its power had increased by more than 50%. Rumble. Like a giant mountain pressing down on him, Lin Feng, who was now rank 4, was comparable to a normal rank 9 even if he didn't use the titanium grade body. The 7th layer of the titanium grade body directly increased his physical fitness by 30 times. It was comparable to a low-level or even mid-level Nirvana realm cultivator. It completely overshadowed the melting fire. This molten fire was caught off guard. He guessed that Lin Feng might be very strong, but he didn't expect Lin Feng to be this strong. He wanted to dodge, but he found that there was an invisible force binding him. Molten fire roared, and his fists flashed with flames. His power erupted in an instant. Flame Dragon Holy Fist. Martial arts from the Nirvana world. There were a total of 6 styles, and each style was perfectly integrated with the profound meaning of fire. The second style, Flame Dragon Goes to Sea. The terrifying Flame Dragon rushed out. Molten Fire's fist technique had already reached the peak of the 12th level. The title of the number 1 genius of the Blood Tower was not for nothing. His fist was strong and fierce, and there was nothing it couldn't destroy. The second style of the 7 limits. Against the second style of the Flame Dragon Holy Fist. Boom! A real powerhouse clashed. The Ice Crystal Sacred Realm was suffocating. Everyone stared blankly at the battle between Lin Feng and Molten Fire on the Ice Crystal. It was like a collision between a comet and a meteorite. The golden drums rang out, and the earth shook. In the battle between the Thunder Dragon and the Flame Dragon, 1 blade and 1 fist were good at attacking. Thunder and fire mixed together, which was amazing. He is Lin Feng. Am I seeing things? Is he the Lin Feng from before? How can he be so powerful? Molten Fire's strength was not unexpected, but Lin Feng's sudden outburst. It made people dumbfounded. I must be seeing things. Is it a dream? So, this is Lin Feng's real strength. Although Lin Feng did not hide his strength, because of his many tricks, people thought that he was not strong enough and only relied on his wits, including the Blood Tower's 5th Palace Master. They all thought that Molten Fire's victory would be easy. They just wanted to see how Lin Feng could fight. But unexpectedly, the battle situation was unexpected. Even Yun Xing, who knew Lin Feng the best, widened his eyes. Black Bear and Lord Ba opened their mouths for a long time. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes shone brighter, and she did not hide her love for talent. The most shocked one was undoubtedly Bone King. Looking at Lin Feng, who was fighting fiercely with Molten Fire, Bone King was completely stunned. It was hard to believe that this newcomer could be so strong. Impossible, Bone King murmured. It's too incredible. Yun Xing also said to himself. Although he had high expectations for Lin Feng, he still did not expect his strength to be so strong. Molten Fire is actually being suppressed. There's no way to parry it. Lin Feng's physique is too terrifying after he completely explodes. Monster! He is a real monster. Huh. Lin Feng became more courageous as the battle went on. The Heaven Saint weapon Black Scorpion was like a fish in water, showing its full power. With a monstrous aura, the image of Chiyu behind him was domineering, suppressing Molten Fire's continuous attacks. Although Molten Fire's fist art was stronger, facing Lin Feng's overlord battle strength, he could barely resist. Molten Fire was inexplicably anxious, and the more he fought, the more frightened he became. Lin Feng was so strong that it was terrifying. Forget about Tuoba. If I can't win this battle, I will be eliminated directly. Ronghua shouted, separating from Lin Feng amidst the clanging sounds. The fire Upanishad on his right hand was burning, consuming a lot of energy. His right arm was numb, but Ronghua didn't have time to care about that. His trump card was revealed. Bang! Bang! Raging flames burned inside Molten Fire's body. His fiery hair stood on end and instantly grew long. The fire barrier around Molten Fire's body suddenly expanded. Molten Fire gritted his teeth and let out a painful cry. A roaring fire dragon appeared on his forehead. Pa! 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 Flames condensed, forming dragon scales outside his body. The most frightening thing was that a long fire dragon tail appeared behind Molten Fire. First grade bloodline, son of the fire dragon. Finally, you have used your full strength. Lin Feng was not afraid, but laughed instead. Floating in the air, Lin Feng even allowed Molten Fire to complete his bloodline eruption. The Molten Fire in front of him was the real him, a 9 blood peak battle strength. The Molten Fire who had been resisting and being suppressed was only in his normal state. Bloodline eruption, from normal 9 blood to peak 9 blood. Lin Feng's smile suddenly froze, and his aura rose again. Shua! Lin Feng's eyes widened. Zizhou had broken through again and again, and his strength had reached a new level. In this area, the Dark Devil Holy Qi increased the power of the 7 limits, and the advantage of suppressing Molten Fire's body could be maximized. Both of them had 9 blood peak battle strength, but Zizhou, I might not be your opponent when you stepped on the stairs, but now I am stronger than you. Lin Feng suddenly exploded. Chapter 646. The body was the foundation. Just like a tall building, the foundation couldn't bear the weight. No matter how perfect the proportions were, there was a limit to how much weight it could bear. Be it Ronghua, Shimanzi, or Tabiyu, all of them had good bodies to be able to become 9 blood assassins. Only then could they use their battle techniques to their fullest potential and use the upper stage of Zizhou to fight the upper stage of Nirvana. It was very rare, and there were only a few in the entire 33 continents. Now, Lin Feng had also reached this level. And boom, boom, 2 figures crossed each other, one red and one lightning. They were so fast that they left afterimages. Those who weren't strong enough couldn't even see them clearly. The veins on Ao Jianwei's fists bulged, and his palms were sweating. He stared at Lin Feng like a wolf. Xuelo's Ronghua, the top 9 blood assassin. Lin Feng can fight him as an equal. How did he become so strong in just a year? He must die, he must die. Ao Jianwei clenched his teeth so hard that they almost bled. Lin Feng's strength caused a portion of the anger and resentment in Ao Jianwei's heart to transform into a kind of feeling called fear. Boom, boom. The air shook violently. Each of Ronghua's punches carried the flame of a fire dragon, burning and swallowing wildly. Supergrade 1 Holy Qi, and it was completely connected to his bloodline. Even his high-quality Heavenly Saint artifact, the Jade Fire Fist Gloves, did not change much in Huomo's strength. He used his bloodline as the core and expanded it outwards, unleashing the Tao of fire to its fullest. With the Flame Dragon's sacred fists, he was invincible. 4th style, Flame Dragon 4 images. Ronghua's punches were fast, fierce, and indestructible. With one punch, 4 flame dragons roared out from 4 directions. This style was combined with high-level fire mysteries. It was Ronghua's strongest move. The 4 flame dragons each had their own characteristics. Different from the 7 limits, human martial arts focused more on the combination of mysteries and human characteristics. The demon race's martial arts. Great skill. Storm. Lin Feng used the 3rd style of the 7 limits. The 4th move, Hailstone, required a swordsmanship of the 12th stage to be cultivated. Lin Feng had indeed grasped most of its essence, but in terms of power, it was not as good as the 3rd style, Storm, which used the whirlpool as a whirlpool and the wind as a storm. Even if it was just a trace of the vortex's profound will, it would be greatly enhanced by the vortex body. His saber technique was indeed inferior to fire fusion. However, Lin Feng's heart and the activation of the Overlord's battle power had suppressed Ronghua's fists by a level. The seventh tier of the titanium grade body allowed Lin Feng's current physical fitness to not be inferior to his opponents, even if it was fire fusion after his bloodline had completely erupted. The Thunder Dragon roared, erupting with Lin Feng's current peak combat strength. Even when facing the all-out fire melt, he still had some strength left. Pung! The violent storm was swallowed by the 4 fire dragons. However, Lin Feng's saber also heavily struck the melting fire fist. Lin Feng fiercely retreated as a burning and devouring flame energy entered his chest. He instantly activated the mid-level profound meaning of darkness. At the same time, he used the whirlpool body to reduce the energy consumption. In terms of defense, Lin Feng was no longer the same as before. On the other side, Ronghua's face was ashen. The fire dragon on his forehead also seemed to be furious. His arms were so numb that he couldn't raise them. Although he had the eternal flame boxing gloves, how could they compare to a supreme grade heavenly saint weapon? He was already at a disadvantage. How can he be so strong? Why? Why can't I even gain the upper hand? I can't accept this. Ronghua retreated, forcefully swallowing the blood gushing out of his throat. His heart was filled with extreme unwillingness. Ronghua roared, forcibly stopping his body. Then he attacked Lin Feng again. At this point, he could only attack. His blood rushed to his head. His heart was filled with killing intent and anger. His body was out of control. Looking at Ronghua, Lin Feng's expression was calm. The power of the supreme grade heavenly saint weapon, Black Scorpion. It had unknowingly invaded Ronghua's body. His heart isn't as strong as his strength. Something seems wrong with Ronghua. Lord Ba frowned. He's already fallen into Lin Feng's trap. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes flashed. Lin Feng's dark holy chi has the advantage in this forest. Plus, he's a saint power cultivator. He's attacking Ronghua's weak point. Despicable. Bone King's expression was extremely ugly. Yun Xing said coldly, "We're just doing what we're good at. How can we be despicable?" Let's continue watching. Lord Ba stroked his long beard. Ronghua can't control his heart anymore. It's as if he's possessed. I didn't expect Lin Feng to be so calm in such a fierce battle. It's rare. Hong Ying was full of praise. Specialization. It's indeed powerful. Lin Feng sighed inwardly. In terms of endurance, he wasn't as good as Ronghua. Thunder Dragon Holy Chi and Dark Demon Holy Chi were only at the 7th level, and Alcade Holy Chi was only at the 6th level. Ronghua's Super Grade 1 Flame Holy Chi was at the 2nd level. There is a huge difference in the amount of Holy Chi. Although he could replenish his Holy Chi with the Thunder Kuei pot, he didn't have time to absorb it in such a fast-changing battle. If he fully unleashed his combat power, he would indeed be stronger than Ronghua. However, Ronghua had both offense and defense, and he had several heaven-grade treasures. It wouldn't be easy to completely defeat him. But now, Lin Feng dodged and blocked Ronghua's attacks. Again and again, Ronghua's power was being depleted. His momentum was also slowly declining. The more he fought, the more anxious he became. The more anxious he was, the stronger his inner demons became. The black haze began to affect Ronghua's state and movements, until White Phoenix Heaven and Earth Dazzle. Lin Feng seized the opportunity and instantly used the mid-level profound meaning of light. A dazzling white light flashed before his eyes, like a white phoenix soaring in the sky. Ronghua roared like a furious fire dragon. If he attacked too fiercely, he would eventually reveal his weakness. Lin Feng, who had been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, wouldn't give Ronghua any time to react. 33 rays of golden light formed into the shape of dragons, forming the image of a dragon devouring its prey. The moment Ronghua was blinded, the golden light broke through his defense. The golden light was dazzling, and Ronghua's shrill cry resounded. Ronghua's defense only reappeared after he was repelled. After the blindness was removed, Roanghua spat out a mouthful of blood. He was furious. When his vision recovered, he realized that Lin Feng was nowhere to be seen. His heart trembled. A terrifying pressure that was as powerful as the heavens attacked him from above. Roanghua's eyes widened in shock. A black light enveloped the sky, and an astonishing blade energy erupted. Sea cleaving. The first style of the seven limits, sea cleaving, combined with the high-level, profound meaning of light, vortex change. The blade's power was greatly increased, and it directly broke through Roanghua's defense, which was on the verge of collapse. Its power was extremely high, and it broke through the sea. Every time it went down, the gravity would increase by a layer. It was like water pressure accumulating bit by bit. Rumble. The blade was tyrannical and unstoppable. Bang. One move, mountain and river calming. Chapter 647. 1. Lin Feng actually won. Within the ice crystal's sacred domain, pairs of eyes widened in shock and disbelief. But looking at the white light disappearing under the blade mark, the brilliant star ring shattered and a black light shrouded the entire region. Emohua's figure was no longer above the ice crystal. Only Lin Feng's black brilliant star ring remained. Victory and defeat had been decided. The air was filled with a suffocating aura. No one had guessed the final result. Lin Feng, victory. He wanted to win too much. Lin Feng kept the black scorpion. Roanghua was too arrogant and wanted to prove himself too much. He had placed himself in an extremely high and dangerous position. Being ranked second on the Glorious Stars leaderboard had caused him to bear a heavy burden and pressure. In addition to his own pride and arrogance, his heart kept tightening and tightening. Incomparably hard, but the harder it was, the more fragile it was. One touch and it would shatter. Ignoring failure and believing in one's heart, only then can one become a true expert. Lin Feng said softly, "If not for the demonic qi in the Black Demon Forest, causing the negative energy to seep into Emohua's heart, he would not have won so easily with his 9 blood peak battle strength. At least, I need to use the 8th layer of the titanium gray body, or Hua, a stone stirred up 1,000 ripples." Emohua's elimination caused a heated discussion. The first seeded contestant to be eliminated. Before Emohua, Needle Demon, Shimanzi, and Shirtian had all successfully advanced. Instead, Emohua, who was ranked the highest on the Brilliant Star list, had been eliminated, especially since he did not lose his footing but was defeated by Lin Feng in a one-on-one situation. Intimidating. I already said that Lin Feng had been hiding his strength, but you didn't believe me. Actually, I already guessed it. Look at Lin Feng from the first round to the second round. He easily passed. Otherwise, he could have won with just the Brilliant Star ring. Why would he enter the danger zone and fight with Emohua? Don't you think so? Stop talking after the fact. Why didn't I hear you say that before? Exactly. I wonder who was the one who kept cursing Lin Feng, saying that he did not have a brain and was sending himself to death. Everyone was in a heated discussion. Lin Feng's sudden outburst was like an ugly duckling turning into a swan. It was a wonderful reversal, directly reversing Lin Feng's strength and status in everyone's hearts. Too strong. He was strong enough to defeat Fire Melt, who was ranked second on the Glorious Stars list. Even the 5th Hall Master of the Blood Cult had just recovered from the shock. He shook his head in disbelief and exclaimed repeatedly. Bone King's face turned red. It felt like a fishbone was stuck in his chest. He couldn't say a single word, but his face hurt from the slap. However, no one mocked him, because at this moment, all the palace masters were deeply shocked. We have all underestimated him. Lord Ba muttered. He's already at the pinnacle of 9 blood, Yun Xing said. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes twinkled. It was a bit of a trick. Besides, Lin Feng's bladesmanship and holy qi were strengthened by the environment. Lin Feng is indeed comparable to fire melting. Melting fire didn't lose unjustly, Black Bear said in a low voice. Indeed, he wasn't wronged. He had lost to an opponent of the same level, and the reason for his defeat was his own fault. From now on, the title of the number 1 genius of the Blood Cult will change. Well, we don't need to envy the Immortal Pavilion anymore. They can cultivate such a genius as Goddess Wakaman. This time, our bloody tower has an incredible monster. He became famous after one battle. No one would be stupid enough to question Lin Feng's strength anymore. Defeating Fire Melt head-on was a mirror, which completely reflected Lin Feng's strength. Although it was a trick, there were many factors in a battle. A win was a win. Without enough strength, one couldn't win even if they wanted to. Chi. Lin Feng didn't stop. He continued to kill and sharpen himself in the Black Demon Forest. He absorbed the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi stored in the Thunder Kuei pot. The consumed Holy Chi was quickly replenished. It was very important for the first round of the official competition where every second mattered. There were only 7 days. One day, here was more than 10 days of cultivation outside. Strength needed to be accumulated little by little. The Brilliant Star Ring has reached level 9 black. Every time I kill a contestant, I can upgrade it by 1 color level. The more I kill, the greater the benefit. Lin Feng was very clear. The energy contained in level 8 purple and level 9 black was very different. Including the treasures that could be exchanged, the difference was also very big. This was a benefit in the first round of the official competition. As the honorary captain said, the more you worked, the more you would get. After this round, the Brilliant Star Ring would no longer be useful. Purely relying on the accumulation of energy, not to mention level 9 black, even level 8 purple was more difficult than reaching the sky. It was obvious that the first and second rounds were ordinary. But now, he had the best opportunity. Level 10, 7 colors. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Everything was ready. He only needed Tuoba. On the 6th day of the official competition. He's out. He's the first one to find the exit of the 6 perilous lands. Wu Daozi is indeed the smartest person in the 33 continents. He deserves the 3rd place on the Brilliant Star list. There was a lot of praise. The 4th contestant appeared. It was Wu Daozi from the Enlightenment Valley. Unlike the previous 3 contestants, Wu Daozi found the exit of the perilous lands and advanced. His Brilliant Star Ring was only indigo. He wasn't very lucky. Another contestant also obtained an indigo ring and then went into hiding. It was somewhat similar to Lin Feng's Gate of Heaven's Wrath. Actually, if Lin Feng went into hiding that day, he would probably be eliminated now, right? Yes. The exit is behind that forest. Molten Fire has already found the correct location. Unfortunately, there's always someone better. Lin Feng appeared at the right time. Accurate judgment. Lin Feng is indeed a genius. Time is the best evidence. There was a lot of praise and admiration for Lin Feng. He was the first contestant to eliminate a seeded contestant. Moreover, he climbed up step by step from the first round. It made people resonate with him. Yixia's appearance had obscured their view, but a pearl would always shine. The 7th day of the official competition, the last day, the deeper he went into the Black Demon Forest, the more difficult it was. Most of the Heaven Rank Level 2 monsters and Essence with spirits were not much of a threat to Lin Feng. However, it took him more time. Even so, he still passed through the Black Demon Forest on the last day. It was a place that was like a paradise. There was no demonic aura or monsters. It was like an oasis in the desert. It was not big and was less than 1/10,000th of the Black Demon Forest. However, it was abnormally terrifying. There were all kinds of Heaven Rank Level 2 and even Level 3 Essence with spirits. It was extremely dangerous. However, in the center of the heart of the forest, there was a shining door. The Gate of Heaven's Wrath. This is the exit. Lin Feng smiled. To be continued. Chapter 648. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. Aren't the Essence with spirits too dense? How can a group of Heaven Rank Level 3 Essence with spirits pass? The exit Wu Daozi walked out of is a maze, but here, there are no tricks. Everyone took a deep breath. Too dense. The Essence with spirits waved their branches and soared through the sky like dragons. Even though they couldn't move, they had vigorous vitality and extremely strong control. The most terrifying thing was that unlike demons, humans, and Yao, plants were strong because they were strong. United. The Essence with spirits helped each other. The Black Demon Forest was like an iron bucket filled with traps. Once you stepped in, it would be hard to come out. What to do? Pairs of curious eyes looked at Lin Feng, waiting for his answer. Actually, Lin Feng doesn't need to go through the exit. Yes, it's the last day now. He has victory in his hands. Even if Tuobiyu arrives at the last moment, it's useless. If he wants to go through the exit, he will have to face the essence with formation like a beast tide. Those are heaven rank level 3 essence with spirits. Normal upper level Nirvana Ascension cultivators would have a hard time. Nirvana Ascension, Saint, Nirvana. There were 3 realms in Nirvana Ascension. Now Lin Feng's strength was comparable to upper level Nirvana Ascension cultivators. Of course, he was just a normal upper level Nirvana Ascension cultivator. If he really encountered the best of the Nirvana Ascension cultivators, Lin Feng might not win. But essence with spirits were often inferior to humans and demons, because they had no support like heaven saint weapons, pills, or saint-level treasures. Lin Feng used the simplest method to explain to all the martial artists a method to break the formation. Break it by force. Arrow form, tiger form, dragon form. Lin Feng used the 33 hands of manipulation to the fullest. Different levels of essence with spirits attacked in different ways. It was very troublesome to deal with essence with spirits in close combat. It was like falling into a trap, but long-range attacks were always successful. In particular, Lin Feng's True Dragon Saint power was abundant. The True Dragon Saint power stored in the Dragon Pearl Necklace. It was much more than the Thunder Dragon Saint Chi stored in the Thunder Kuei pot. Under the shocked and numb gazes of the crowd, Lin Feng cleared the heart of the Black Demon Forest at an extremely fast speed. Many heaven rank level 3 essence with spirits were killed before they could even attack Lin Feng. 10 stocks, 100 stocks. Boom! As the Golden Dragon once again defeated the essence with spirit, a path was cleared in front of them. The exit was right in front of them. Lin Feng has advanced. Impeccable performance. Perfect. Black Radiant Star Ring. Defeat Mo Hua and find the exit. He completed all the difficult questions in the first round of the competition. None of the previous 4 people can compare to him. He's a dark horse like Yi Xia. I'm really looking forward to the top 8. Everyone had already begun to discuss the battles of the top 8. Following Lin Feng's advancement, the 7 spots had already been decided. Next up was the simple and direct individual battles, one-on-one battles. There was no luck involved. There was only one principle in the decisive battle space. Whoever was stronger would be able to advance. However, contrary to everyone's expectations, Lin Feng did not enter the exit. Instead, he continued to slaughter the dense essence with spirits around him, as if he was harvesting grass. It was puzzling. What is Lin Feng doing? Is there any benefit in continuing to kill the essence with spirits? Everything here. It was all illusory in the glory world. Therefore, even if he killed the essence with spirits, he wouldn't get anything. The energy would return to the glory world. But what everyone didn't know was that Lin Feng was currently reaping a great harvest. Every essence with spirit brought a lot of energy. Although he couldn't get too close, but it was enough to surpass the essence with spirits of heaven rank level 2. Most importantly, the essence with spirits here were not only rich in energy, but also dense and huge in number. 80%, 85%, 90%. Phew, Lin Feng let out a light breath. He absorbed a large amount of True Dragon Holy Aura from the dragon's Nightmare Pearl Chain. He felt the huge consumption of energy from the dragon's Nightmare Pearl Chain, but his heart was extremely full. 3 days in the Black Demon Forest was not as good as half a day here. The efficiency was extremely high. In a short time, the spirit of the earth had reached 90% of the 4th step. It was only a step away from the 5th step. As expected, it was a wise choice to participate in the Battle of Glory Star. Lin Feng smiled slightly. Not only could he challenge strong enemies, but he could also transform his strength in a short period of time. 97%. Lin Feng stopped. The continuous killing had exhausted the energy of the dragon's Nightmare Pearl Chain. Right now, the essence with spirits in the heart were less than 20% of what they used to be. There was still more than enough time. Lin Feng took out the black skeleton without hesitation, and a rich black light shone. Whoosh! The close combat continued. In terms of attack, Holy Chi was still better than Holy Power. Final sprint. The 7th day, the last 4 hours. Whoosh! Lin Feng's frontal attack directly destroyed a spirit of the essence wood. Earlier, he had used the 33 hands of manipulation to remove most of the threats here, making the close combat threat much smaller. Moreover, he could absorb more heaven and earth energy after getting close. Soon, the last 3% of heaven and earth energy was absorbed and overflowed. His body moved gently, and a brand new energy flowed throughout his body. It was extremely comfortable. First week, 5th step, another breakthrough. Lin Feng was overjoyed. The stronger he was, the stronger he could challenge after entering the top 8. Defeating Mo did not mean anything. In the Black Demon Forest, he had the geographical advantage and used Mo's mental weakness. His true strength was about the same level as Mo was. Even if he was stronger, there was a limit. But among all the participants, there were 3 people stronger than Mo Hua: Goddess Wakaman, Yixia, and Wu Daozi, including Needle Demon, Shi Tian, and Shi Manzi. These few seated participants. Their strength might be on par with Mo Hua. I'm looking forward to it. Lin Feng smiled. This kind of challenge opportunity was something he yearned for. Last hour. He's here. Tuoba, you really made it. He's lucky to have Mo Hua and Lin Feng to help him open a path. The path to the exit in the Black Demon Forest is too obvious. If he went alone, he wouldn't have enough time. Lin Feng played with fire this time. I heard that Tuoba Yu's strength is not much weaker than Mo Hua. And Lin Feng has been killing essence with spirits and has consumed a lot of his strength. Tuoba Yu's been rushing, relying on speed. His strength is at its peak. With a balance between the strong and the weak, it could be a fierce battle between evenly matched opponents. Maybe Lin Feng will fail miserably. Everyone was in heated discussion. They were looking forward to an intense life and death battle. But the result was things did not go as they wished. Boom! The 7th layer of the titanium grade exploded. Lin Feng used only 3 moves to suppress Tuoba Yu, who was known for his speed and agility, and defeated him. Lin Feng, who was below 5th step, did not use his full strength. He did not need the geographical advantage to reach this level. 9 Blood Peak. Chapter 649. Lin Feng left the door of Heaven's Wrath. Even though the time limit was not up yet, there were no other contestants in the door of Heaven's Wrath other than him. The brilliant star ring on his hand had turned from black to rainbow colors. It was very beautiful. Level 10 color. Lin Feng was satisfied. The reason why he had not entered the exit was partly because he was cultivating, but it was also because he was waiting for Tuoba Yu. The difference between a black brilliant star ring and a rainbow brilliant star ring was huge. What a powerful energy source. Lin Feng's heart palpitated. With their hearts connected, he could feel the rainbow brilliant star ring's energy. If he absorbed it all, at least one more level and reach the child's 6th stage. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. Damn, isn't the difference in strength too great? Tuoba Yu was bragging about how strong he was, but he couldn't even take one hit from Lin Feng. He's too weak. He was lucky to meet Lin Feng in the end. Everyone complained. They thought it would be another fierce battle between meteors. Who would have thought that Tuoba Yu, who was at his peak, would become a weakling against Lin Feng? Facing Lin Feng, who had used up a lot of energy, he only had the power to block and did not even try to resist. 1 move to injure, 2 to retreat, 3 moves. Direct defeat. It was a tragic sight. It's not that Tuoba Yu is weak, Lord Boss said softly. It's that Lin Feng is too strong, He Xiong said. Even if Tuoba Yu meets Mo Hua, he can fight back. Hong Ying covered her mouth and laughed. Tuoba Tai relies on his speed technique. His speed is indeed second to none in Zizhou. Combined with his holy light Qi, he can be compared to a cultivator in the upper level of the Nirvana stage. Using this, he can produce a 9 blood normal battle power. Unfortunately, Lin Feng is even faster. Yun Xing's eyes were sharp. Have you noticed? Lin Feng is even faster than when he fought Mo Hua. Lorban nodded. That's right. At that time, his speed was not as fast as Tuobiu, but now, the five palace masters looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with shock. They thought that Lin Feng had used all his strength in the battle with Mo Hua. He had relied on trickery to win the fire fusion stage, but now it seemed that Lin Feng still has some strength left, Yun Xing said. What a terrifying newcomer, Ba Yi muttered to himself. No, he's a monster. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes flashed with a gentle light. I really like him more and more. Lin Feng had successfully advanced. He then entered the cocoon paradise to recuperate. The second round of the competition would begin 2 days after the first round. After all, humans were not machines. They needed rest. Whoosh, a bright light flashed. Inside the cocoon cave, Lin Feng hesitated as he looked at the radiant star ring in his hand. 7 colors. Level 10 color. The first level of the glory treasury is level 7 indigo. The second level should be level 8 purple. The third level is level 9 black. As for me, it should be the 4th level. Exchange, or directly absorb the energy of heaven and earth. Lin Feng was a little hesitant. There's only one exchange opportunity. I can directly go to the 4th level to exchange. But what's there? Lin Feng was very curious. After all, the first level of the Glory Treasury was already quite precious. There was even the Glory Alliance's unique Heart of Glory. The Heart of Glory is divided into low grade, middle grade, and superior grade. The superior grade Heart of Glory can increase the success rate of high-grade Holy Chi fusion to 80%. High-grade Holy Chi fusion. That was the fusion of 2 types of Holy Chi of heaven and earth. It was like the fusion of light and thunder to form Titan Holy Chi. The fusion of darkness and thunder to form Nether Holy Chi. The 4th level might not have the superior grade Heart of Glory. Lin Feng analyzed in his heart. Maybe there are better treasures than the superior grade Heart of Glory, more powerful holy treasures. But if it's far beyond my level, I might not be able to use it. It was like a child who couldn't hold a sword. The higher the level of a treasure, the better. The key was whether it was suitable, such as whether the clothes fit. The black radiant star ring can be exchanged for the superior grade Heart of Glory, compared to other invisible benefits. As for treasures, Lin Feng was particularly concerned about the superior grade Heart of Glory. Because he was now in the 5th level of Holy Chi fusion, he was not far away. This was the advancement of a Nermo powerhouse. It was a must. The Heart of Glory is only owned by the Glory Alliance in the Nirvana world. If I miss it, I won't have it. Lin Feng nodded secretly. Ordinary warriors would fail 99% of the time when they fused Holy Chi. But with the Heart of Glory, the success rate of fusion could be increased to more than 80%. Exchanging the Rainbow Radiant Star Ring for the superior grade Heart of Glory. I wonder if I can exchange for 2? Or, after exchanging the Rainbow Radiant Star Ring for a superior grade Heart of Glory, can I exchange for something else? Lin Feng frowned slightly and shook his head helplessly. The possibility was not very high. After all, this was a reward, not an equivalent exchange. So be it. Lin Feng thought about it. The superior grade Heart of Glory was more important. Now that he was in the 5th level of Holy Chi, even if he absorbed the Rainbow Radiant Star Ring, he would only be in the 6th level of Holy Chi. His strength would not improve much. Immersed in the Heart of Glory, Lin Feng was about to cultivate. Wait. The Rainbow Radiant Star Ring can't be exchanged for the Black Radiant Star Ring, but the energy absorption can. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He remembered the energy absorption before the competition. Every time he absorbed a bit of energy, the Radiant Star Ring would darken a little, as if the color level was reversed. I can absorb part or even most of the energy of the Radiant Star Ring. I can stop when the Radiant Star Ring fades to black. This is the perfect way to use it. He did as he thought. Lin Feng quickly began to absorb the energy of the Radiant Star Ring. With the first experience, the second time was like a fish in water. The energy contained in the Rainbow Radiant Star Ring was indeed rich. It took him a few hours to absorb it before it slowly turned from rainbow to black. I can continue. Lin Feng did not stop. The black of the radiant star ring soon faded. Before part of it turned purple, Lin Feng stopped absorbing, killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. Lin Feng smiled. He clenched his fists and felt the surging power. Most of the energy in the radiant star ring was already in his body. Now he was in the 6th level of Holy Qi. 2 days later, just as Lin Feng expected, the honorary captains brought everyone to the Glory Treasury. But this time, the treasury they were in was different. Lin Feng entered the 3rd floor of the Glory Treasury. He was the one who entered the deepest floor. There was another person with him, Shi Tian of the Nirvana God sect. Lin Feng did not choose much. His eyes were already fixed on the high-grade heart of glory. He exited immediately after exchanging. Different from Lin Feng, Shi Tian took a supreme treasure that could increase his battle strength in a short period of time. After choosing, everyone arrived at a white space. This time, not only were there 5 men and 2 women, all 7 honorary captains were present. Standing in the middle of them was an imposing man. Honorary captain. The second round of the competition, the top 8 battle, began. Chapter 650. My surname is He. You can call me Commander He. First of all, I welcome everyone on behalf of the Glory Alliance 7. You will become a member of the Alliance 7's trump card army, and I will be in charge of you. If there's anything, you can come to me. He Jin, the trump card army commander of the Glory Alliance 7. His words were clean and decisive, without any hesitation. His entire body exuded a trembling aura. Clearly, he had been tempered for a long time. Lin Feng looked at the mountain-like man with some reverence. This was a true powerhouse of the Nirvana realm, a transcendent existence in the Nirvana realm. Moreover, he was definitely one of the best in the Nirvana realm. The Glory Alliance was originally formed by the 12 alliances, representing the 12 territories controlled by humans in the Nirvana realm. Lin Feng nodded. After listening to Commander He's brief introduction, he already had a general understanding of the Glory Alliance. Every alliance was made up of countless soldiers, and the army was divided into 3 levels. The lowest level was made up of ordinary soldiers and captains. As long as one wanted to join the Glory Alliance and contribute to the human race, after passing the identity check, they would join this level, the lowest level. Like the EastCom army, they're in a semi-free state. Lin Feng knew very well. The Glory Alliance was established mainly to protect the human territories and fight against the demons and demons. This level had the most people and was the backbone of the Glory Alliance. The second level is the Glory Alliance's mainstay and elite army. Those who passed the semifinals but returned in defeat in the first round of the main competition will be assigned to this level. Lin Feng felt that it was a pity. With the strength of Fire Melt, Tooba, and Crippled Wolf, they should have been promoted to this level. But now, the 3 of them would enter the elite army with the other 19 people who had been eliminated. Soldiers and captains at this level could already enjoy a lot of power in the Glory Alliance. The highest level is the trump card army. They have the fewest people, but are the most powerful. Heejin's voice was loud and clear. You will be nurtured by the Glory Alliance and receive excellent treatment. Although you can't enter the Glory team for the time being, as long as you sincerely contribute to the Glory Alliance and humanity and show outstanding strength and battle results, you will also have a chance to be promoted one day in the future. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. Trump card army. Glory team. The hierarchy of the Glory Alliance was very clear. The light of glory will only shine on one person. Only one of the 8 of you can join the Glory team and enter the path of glory. That person will be the champion. Heejin's gaze swept over them. The other 7 who failed don't feel discouraged. As long as you are willing to work hard, opportunities will always exist. Now, I will announce the rules of the quarterfinals. 1 versus 1. Enter the battle arena. The winner will advance and obtain the qualifications to enter the second level of the Glory Treasury. You can choose any treasure you wish. Lin Feng was moved. The second level of the Glory Treasury which was the purple brilliant star ring, had pretty good treasures. But one-on-one, who will my opponent be? Lin Feng's gaze swept across the remaining 7 people. At this moment, everyone's gazes were all over the place. It was as if they were looking for their own opponent. In the end, without exception, they all fell on a number 1 seed, Goddess Wakaman. Everyone knew that she was the greatest obstacle to being crowned the champion of the Battle of Glorious Star. It was her. She was the successor of the Celestial Pavilion, an otherworldly woman. Previously, we have divided them into the upper and lower groups. Each group has a seeded contestant. He said, the participants who advanced in the first round will be divided into the upper and lower groups based on the time they spent. The first to advance is Needle Demon, lower group number. Numerous pairs of eyes looked at Needle Demon, a strange person from the Thousand Medicine Valley. He grinned as if he was very satisfied with entering the lower group. The second to advance is Shimanzi, upper group number. Dressed in red, Shimanzi held a harmonica in her hand. Her smile was enchanting. Her graceful figure was enough to make Needle Demon, Shirtion, and the others stare blankly, swallowing their saliva. The third to advance is Shirtion, lower group number 3. The fourth to advance is Wu Daozi, upper group number 3. The fifth to advance is Lin Feng, lower group number 4. Lin Feng nodded. Fortunately, although he came out late, it seemed like there wouldn't be much difference between the top 8 groups. Lin Feng glanced at Shirtion, Needle Demon, and finally at the first seeded contestant, Yi Xia. Lin Feng smiled helplessly. The latter blinked his eyes. Since he wanted to compete for the championship, he couldn't hide forever. Chui Xue, upper group number 4. He announced the last contestant. Everyone looked at Chui Xue, and Lin Feng nodded at her with a smile. Chui Xue's luck was not bad. After entering the death trap, she quickly looked for other contestants. She was lucky enough to meet a well-matched opponent and barely won. Then, Chui Xue hid, as she said. Of the remaining 3 contestants, one was eliminated and the other died in the secret array. Chui Xue originally wanted to fight Chi Debao to the death. Who would have thought that Chi Debao would luckily find the exit? Unlike Lin Feng, Chi Debao only eliminated 1 contestant. Chi Debao's Glorious Star ring was indigo, so he had no choice but to challenge the array. In the end, he accidentally failed, allowing Chui Xue to take advantage of him. Ice Crystal Holy Land. The upper and lower groups are finally out. Wow, these groups are too strange. The upper group is almost all female, and the lower group is all male. Speaking of which, their strength is very balanced. As soon as the groups were out, the silent crowd became lively again. They discussed the groups and the battles of the top 8. Especially since they had rested for 2 days, they were even more excited. They were looking forward to the next round. The preliminary test, the second test, the first round of the competition was just a small test. The next round was the real decisive moment. In the upper group, there was the recognized strongest, the first seeded contestant, Goddess Wakaman, Wu Daozi, who He thought was stronger than Imohua, and the unfathomable Shimanzi. In the lower group, there was not only Yi Xia and Lin Feng, the 2 dark horses, but also Shirtion and Needle Demon, the 2 famous experts, ranked 4th and 5th on the Glorious Star list. This group is too interesting, too exciting. Right, in the upper group, women fighting against women, that's so cool. Although there's a clear distinction between the strong and the weak, if Goddess Wakaman and Wu Daozi go against each other, it will definitely be awesome. You perverted ghost, what's so good about the upper group? The lower group is what's exciting, okay? Yi Xia, Lin Feng, Shirtion, and Needle Demon. The 4 of them are similar in strength. Each battle will be a close match. It's like a bottle of warm and fine wine. It doesn't look like much at first glance, but after tasting it, it will be a real aftertaste. And I wonder who will go against who. Look, the groups are starting. Pairs of expectant and nervous eyes looked over. Everyone held their breaths. At this time, the order of the top 8 was announced by He. Chapter 651. Number 1 versus number 4 in each half. Number 2 versus number 3. First half, start first. He pointed at the huge, spherical space behind him. Goddess Wakaman versus Snow Chue, left battle space. Wu Daozi versus Shi Manzi, right battle space. Boom! As his voice fell, the top 8 looked at each other in dismay. The moment Lin Feng heard the word, he looked at Yi Xia, his good friend from the first round. Yi Xia blinked and smiled helplessly. What commander, he said, was the number 1 versus number 4 in each half? The number 1 in the bottom half was Yi Xia, and the number 4 was him. What was meant to be encountered would eventually be encountered. There is only one champion. Even if we don't meet in the top 8, we will meet in the top 4. Lin Feng said calmly. The decisive battle between him and Yi Xia was something that couldn't be avoided. Entering the top 8 and becoming one of the trump cards of the glorious 7 alliances, he had gained a lot from the Battle of Glory. Although I don't have the chance to fight with Blood Shadow, it's not bad to have Yi Xia as my opponent. Lin Feng's fighting spirit rose. Among the remaining 7, he wanted to fight the most. The number 1 was undoubtedly Goddess Wakaman, followed by Yi Xia, a sacred power cultivator whose strength was a mystery. Lin Feng looked at the battle space in front of him. It was different from the first and second round of the competition. As the 4 figures entered the battle space, the original spherical space shrunk instantly, as if the 4 were sucked into a spatial sphere. Everything could be seen clearly from the outside. 2 versus 2 battles. Good. I can see Goddess Wakaman's strength. Lin Feng was more inclined to see Goddess Wakaman and Snow Chue fight. Although Wu Daozi and Shi Manzi's battle might be more exciting, Goddess Wakaman and Snow Chue were familiar with him. The 2 women, one was like a fairy, the other was like a born in ice and snow. In terms of temperament, Goddess Wakaman was better. But in terms of fighting spirit, Snow Chue was stronger. Snow Chue knew his strength very well. Among the 8, she was the weakest. 8 blood top tier. Lin Feng was very clear about Shue's current strength. As soon as the battle started, Shui started to attack. Shue's sword seemed like it was made by heaven. It was like a giant sword that wanted to pierce through its own destiny. Goddess Wakaman. It was the sky above the blowing snow. Sword heart. He clasped his hands behind his back as a trace of disdain appeared in his eyes. A battle between 2 sword hearts. Interesting. Kenshin. Lin Feng looked at the battle space on his left. Goddess Wakaman had destroyed the entire sword space as soon as she attacked. As expected, she has also condensed a sword heart. Lin Feng was secretly shocked. In his opinion, Shui might not be very talented in other aspects, but he had been living with swords since he was young. Her aptitude for the sword should be at the top of the 33 continents. Being able to condense a sword heart at the age of 20 was shocking. But before his eyes, however, there was a woman who was even stronger than her. Goddess Wakaman, the successor of the Celestial Pavilion, who was only 18 years old, was already at the top of the Brilliant Star list. She had also condensed a sword heart. Shui is going to lose. Lin Feng sighed softly. Ice Crystal Holy Land. There is no suspense. Definitely. Shui was lucky to enter the top 8. Not to mention Goddess Wakaman. She has no chance of winning against any of the top 8 opponents. You can't say that. Shui is only 0 years old and is already very strong. It's just that the strength of the other competitors this time is too terrifying. Just look at Yi Xia and Lin Feng, 2 dark horses that appeared out of nowhere. There were no such monsters in the previous tournaments. Shue's defeat did not cause any surprise. Goddess Wakaman, who was ranked first on the Glorious Stars list, did not reveal her strength at all. This battle of unequal strength had already ended. On the other side, Shi Manzi and Wu Daozi's battle was in full swing, causing everyone to exclaim in surprise. Too powerful. This year's female warriors have risen. Yes, there was only one female warrior in the top 8 last time. Her strength is not even comparable to Shui. Shi Manzi can actually compete with Wu Daozi. She is also Goddess Wakaman. I heard that she is the same age as Shui, also 0 years old. She is already so sexy at 0 years old. What will happen when she is a few years older? She's peerlessly enchanting, curvy in the front and perky behind. Her every movement exudes a charming charm that seduces one's soul. Luckily, she's a Taoist who's pure of heart and few desires like Wu Daozi. If it were any other male martial artist, their blood would have probably boiled over by now. In the decisive battle space, Shi Manzi and Wu Daozi went back and forth, fighting fiercely. However, the Blood Tower Fifth Palace Master's expression was incomparably dignified. "Not good," Black Bear said in a low voice. "Manzi is at a disadvantage." Lord Ba shook his head. "Wu Daozi's strength is more powerful than the rumors." Yun Xing said. Hong Ying lightly bit her red lips, her slender eyelashes slightly twisted. "Manzi's strength is close to the top of the 9 blood level. If she meets a deviant opponent like Rong Hua, she will definitely be able to defeat him easily. But Wu Daozi, on the other side," Bone King's expression was even more gloomy. "What a strong mind." Lin Feng was also amazed. As a Saint Energy cultivator, he was very clear about Shi Manzi's strength. Her every move exuded charm like a secret technique that would affect the opponent deeply in battle, just like how he had used the black haze to affect Rong Hua's mind. Shi Manzi's charm technique was definitely a trump card for men. Not only did she have the charm technique, but she also used the harmonica to exert an extremely strong power. With the double influence on the mind, in terms of pure strength, she was indeed inferior to Rong Hua. But in terms of combat strength, if Rong Hua encountered Shi Manzi, he would definitely be defeated. But she just had to meet a round-headed Taoist with a face full of smiles. Enlightenment Valley, Wu Daozi. He was known as the smartest person in all 33 continents. Completely unaffected by the charm technique, Wu Daozi's combat strength was comparable to Rong Hua's. His mind was as calm as a lake, allowing Shi Manzi to continuously attack him. After Shi Manzi's strength gradually decreased, Wu Daozi suddenly exerted his strength and put an end to the battle. "It looks like a violent storm, but it's actually as calm as a painting," Lin Feng commented. Wu Daozi's strength lay in his steadiness. While talking and laughing, he had already destroyed the opponent's most skilled ultimate move. Again and again, the second weakened, the third exhausted. The first to come out of the battle space was Goddess Wakaman. Wu Daozi, who came out after her, smiled and nodded at Goddess Wakaman. His eyes flashed. The only winner of the first half would be between the two of them. One was the expert ranked first on the Glorious Stars list. The other was the successor of Enlightenment Valley, ranked third on the Glorious Stars list. Neither of them was willing to give an inch. But before their final battle, the second half of the battle had to be carried out. Yi Xia against Lin Feng, left battle space. Needle Demon against Shi Tian, right battle space, He Jin said. 4 pairs of eyes looked at each other. Lin Feng nodded at Yi Xia, his eyes bright, and then entered the battle space. He was looking forward to this battle. Chapter 652. Haha, a battle between 2 dark horses. It's too rare. From the preliminary round to the top 8, there was at most 1 person in the previous Battle of Glory, but this time there are 2, and it's such a coincidence. Who do you think is more powerful? It must be Lin Feng. Lin Feng defeated Rong Hua, who ranked second on the Glory list, and defeated super powerhouses like Remnant Wolf and Tooba Yu. This is true strength. I think it's Yi Xia, who is a seeded player with Goddess Wakaman. Yi Xia's strength can be seen by entering the top 8 without the examination. Although he didn't show his talent, his strength in the second round is enough to show that he's a super holy power cultivator. Yi Xia, he should have strength comparable to Goddess Wakaman. Their faces were red, but soon the crowd stopped arguing because the final battle was about to begin. Decisive battle space. This was a world of nothingness. There was nothing, a vast expanse of whiteness, and the sea was boundless. There were no buildings, no complicated energy of heaven and earth. The only thing that could be controlled in the decisive battle space was one's own strength. It was very fair. If one wanted to enter the top 4, they needed to prove that they had the absolute strength to defeat the opponent. Against Brother Lin, ordinary illusions should be useless. Yi Xia smiled. Let's start with the high-level illusion, 100 illusions realm. Oh. Lin Feng looked straight at Yi Xia. For an enemy who was proficient in illusions, attacking him was useless unless you could sneak attack him when he was unprepared. Otherwise, you would fall into the illusion before you could attack him. Yi Xia was not an orthodox holy power cultivator. This could be seen from his thin figure. He had the holy power of a Nemo powerhouse, but his body was not even at the Qi cloud stage, just like the humans on Earth. Yi Xia was still the kind that was ridiculously biased, but often such opponents were even more terrifying, because they specialized. Hua! Yi Xia's pupils rapidly changed. His left eye turned into a red uppercut pupil, while his right eye turned into a green uppercut pupil. Between his eyebrows, the area between his eyebrows suddenly caved in, turning into a red and green symbol that looked like a Tai Chi symbol. It instantly shone brightly. For the first time, Yi Xia burst out the power of his bloodline. Boom! Lin Feng's eyes shook violently. His consciousness collapsed. In an instant, he fell into an illusion. Thousand Illusions Valley's ultimate technique. Yunxing's expression turned serious. A high-level illusion, Lord Ba said. Even Nye Mo would be killed by it. It's not just a high-level illusion. Look at his glabella and pupils. Yi Xia's bloodline should be of the eye type. It's very likely that it increases the power of illusions. Hong Ying's long eyelashes twitched slightly. It's just that I've never seen such a bloodline before. What about you, Eighth Master? The Eighth Master was the most knowledgeable and experienced among the Fifth Hall Masters of the Blood Tower. I've never seen it either. There are no records of such a bloodline in the 33 continents. Grandpa Ba said, the bloodline of the 33 continents. Most of them are first and ninth grade bloodline, but some of them are derived from the Nirvana world. Yun Xing said, Yi Xia's bloodline is very likely to be a superior first-grade bloodline. Hong Ying said softly, I don't think so. When one's strength reaches the level of a Nye Mo expert, their bloodline may undergo a second awakening. But Yi Xia isn't a Nye Mo expert, Black Bear said. He is 50% Nye Mo, Grandpa Ba said. His talent, soul, and saint power cultivation have long surpassed Zizhou and even the Nirvana realm. Hong Ying's words may not be unreasonable. The second awakening of bloodline is at least first grade, basically superior grade, or even peerless grade. Superior grade, heavenly parrot pupils. Yi Jin's eyes lit up. In the Nirvana world, they're all top saint power bloodlines. This Yi Xia has the talent to join the glory team. But what bloodline does Lin Feng have? Yi Jin frowned. There were only two people behind him, Goddess Wakamin and Wu Daozi. Their eyes were focused on the battle space on the left. Compared to the battle between Needle Demon and Shi Tian, they were more interested in the battle between Yi Xia and Lin Feng. The battle of illusions was decided in the blink of an eye. In the battle space, Yi Xia's face turned pale. His heavenly parrot pupils dimmed, and his body trembled slightly. Looking at Lin Feng, Yi Xia smiled bitterly and said, Brother Lin, you are indeed powerful. The old man said that even Nirvana realm experts might not be able to resist my 100 illusion realm. Because I'm also a saint power cultivator. Lin Feng smiled. The 7th level of Zizhou's true dragon saint power, coupled with the true eyes saint power that could see through all illusions, his immunity to illusions was quite strong. Yi Xia nodded. The pair of heavenly parrot eyes flashed again, and the reddish-green light was even brighter than before. His face turned serious, and a little sweat appeared on his forehead. Be careful, Big Brother Lin. What I'm going to use next is the 1,000 Illusion Valley's ultimate illusion, the 1,000-layer illusionary heart mirror. With the power of my bloodline, it can even kill a saint martial artist. But I can't fully control it. If I accidentally hurt you, don't blame me. Lin Feng felt warm in his heart. Yi Xia wasn't an arrogant person. He sincerely treated him as a friend. Okay. Lin Feng focused his mind. Here it comes, Brother Lin. Yi Xia's eyes lit up. If you can break this move, I admit defeat. Boom! In an instant, Lin Feng fell into an illusion. 1,000-layer illusionary heart mirror. Like reincarnation, It went straight into the deepest part of one's mind and fell into the abyss. Every moment was a reincarnation, like a dream, happiness, anger, sadness, joy. He experienced all kinds of emotions in the world. Layers of forgetting, layers of reincarnation, completely erased the memories in one's heart. It was quite terrifying. In an illusion, there would always be things that made one lose themselves. For example, power, strength, love. Humans had 7 emotions and 6 desires. Humans had things they desired and cared about. An illusion that went straight into one's heart. Mother, brother, sister, linga to Lin Feng, what he cared about the most was family. The 1,000-layer illusionary heart mirror seemed to have found a breakthrough and penetrated bit by bit. The defense seemed to be slowly disintegrating and collapsing. However, in the depths of Lin Feng's heart, a giant beast seemed to be extremely dissatisfied and roared violently. In an instant, Lin Feng opened his eyes wide and woke up. A pair of eyes in the depths of his sea of consciousness slowly opened, and a golden giant dragon roared. Pa! 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 The dream shattered completely. The 3 meridian diagrams formed a perfect cycle. Lin Feng's heart was calm. In an instant, the fluctuations in his heart returned to normal. When he fell down the cliff, it became a fleeting cloud. Like a movie, the scenes flowed and could no longer enter his memory. After an unknown period of time, at the bottom of the abyss, a white light appeared. Lin Feng woke up from the illusion. His heart was even more tenacious. It was like a steel that had been tempered thousands of times and was as immovable as a mountain. Yixia's pale face and dim eyes appeared in front of him. His voice was extremely weak. You won, Brother Lin. Chapter 653. Lin Feng left the battle space. What appeared in front of him was Commander He's bright eyes and a faintly discernible smile. Lin Feng nodded and walked towards Goddess Wakamin and Wu Daozi. Both of them looked at him with deep meaning. Lin Feng didn't say anything and looked at the battle on the other side of the battle space. The battle between the 4th and 5th ranked on the Glorious Stars list. Nirvana God Sex, Shi Tian against 10,000 Medicine Valley's Needle Demon. It's just begun. A voice came from beside him. Lin Feng nodded and looked at Wu Daozi. The battle between him and Yi Xia seemed like a long cycle, but it was like a dream. In the blink of an eye, the outcome was decided. Congratulations on advancing. Wu Daozi had a round head. When he smiled, he didn't seem to have any ulterior motives. He gave off the feeling of a spring breeze, like a little monk who had just entered a monastery. However, those clear and bright eyes were extremely intelligent and quick-witted. Thank you. Lin Feng smiled back. Who do you think will be your next opponent? Wu Daozi asked. Lin Feng looked at the battle space. At this time, the furious Needle Demon's muscles were bulging. His half-green, half-black face was terrifying. His punches and kicks carried a strong, poisonous energy, forcing Shi Tian to retreat step by step. In terms of appearance, Needle Demon has a slight advantage. Lin Feng said. Wu Daozi nodded. The 10,000 Medicine Valley has the best medicinal pills in all 33 continents. The 108 dual pole needles on Needle Demon's body are a secret of the 10,000 Medicine Valley. The needles are inserted into 108 acupoints of the human body, using special materials and powerful medicines. The ends of the needles are dyed with a strong poison that can penetrate a cultivator's skin and penetrate their body. Dual pole needles, Lin Feng murmured. Using 2 needles at once, it was indeed terrifying. 12 dual pole needles form a threshold. There are 9 thresholds in total. Every threshold increases Needle Demon's strength by 1 level. Wu Daozi smiled faintly. In theory, if Needle Demon's strength is at its peak, you and me, even Goddess Wakamin wouldn't be his opponent. Lin Feng looked at Needle Demon's body. At this time, there were 24 points on Needle Demon's body. In other words, it was 2 Can's combat strength. Obviously, 1 Dan's battle strength wasn't enough to defeat Shi Tian. Therefore, Needle Devil had activated 2 Dan's battle strength. However, the crazed expression on his face was enough to show the chaos in his body. There were gains and losses. How could there be no price for obtaining 2 Dan's battle strength? How many obstacles can he withstand? Lin Feng asked. 3rd place at most, Daozi said, extending 3 fingers. Look, it's starting. Pa, pa, pa. The double pole needles were pressed down one by one. Needle Devil was enraged. His eyes glowed with blood-red light as he howled like a ferocious beast. On the other side, Shi Tian's expression was extremely ugly. He was already at a disadvantage, and now that Needle Devil's strength had erupted once again, it made things worse for him. Shi Tian is in trouble. Lin Feng said. That's right. The key to victory is how long the Needle Demon can last, said Wu Daozi. Shi Tian is finished. Needle Demon is too abnormal. Who can block this kind of explosive power? Speaking of which, Shi Tian is really unlucky to meet such a lunatic. In fact, Needle Demon doesn't rely on his own battle strength. His explosive power is completely dependent on medicine. You can't say that. The winner is king and the loser is a bandit. It's only about victory and defeat. There are many unfair things. Some people have good cultivation conditions. Some people have good treasures, but Needle Demon also paid a high price. Look at his painful appearance. He's neither human nor ghost. He sacrificed a lot to become stronger. In the Ice Crystal Holy Domain, discussions were everywhere. Now only this battle was left unfinished. The last place in the top 4 was still undecided. Compared to the battle between Lin Feng and Yi Xia that was jovial and humorous, this battle was a true bloody battle that occurred successively. Needles that corroded the heavens, tore apart the heart, and split the lungs. They fought with their lives on the line and surged violently, causing the blood of others to dilate and their hearts to beat wildly. Actually, I hope Needle Demon can win. Lord Ba said. Me too. Yun Xing nodded. Why? He Xiong didn't understand. Hong Ying smiled charmingly. Needle Demon's strength is limited. Every time he explodes, it will cause damage to his body. It won't be easy to recover. After the top 8, there are only 3 days of rest. Needle Demon can't recover his strength completely. At that time, Lin Feng can easily win and become the champion of the bottom half. He Xiong nodded in understanding. Wishful thinking. Bone King snorted. Lord Ba stroked his beard and smiled. Bone King is right. Shi Tian has inherited Ao Jianhui's true teachings. Although the 10 swords killing formation can't kill Needle Demon, it's enough to trap and obstruct him. Needle Demon is already in a state of overload. Every second consumes the latent energy in his body. The longer it lasts, the more advantageous it is for Shi Tian. As expected of the little god of slaughter, his battle instincts are outstanding. Hong Ying covered her mouth and smiled. He used the most correct method, avoiding the battle. Yun Xing said. Needle Demon's 3rd battle strength was neutralized by Shi Tian. Just like what Wu Daozi said, the key was how long Needle Demon could maintain this battle strength. Although Shi Tian's 10 swords killing formation was broken, Needle Demon's 3rd battle strength was almost exhausted. In the furious roar of Needle Demon, the battle came to an end. Shi Tian victory. If Needle Demon could withstand the 4th battle, the result would be different. Wu Daozi shook his head. But he's already at his limit. Lin Feng said softly. Using pellets to stimulate one's potential and using needles to prick one's acupoints was never the right way. In the battle space, Shi Tian walked out with a pale face. His eyes were like a ghost as he stared at Lin Feng. Killing intent surged from his body as he raised his head, provoking Lin Feng. Lin Feng was indifferent. He didn't have a good impression of the divine Nirvana sect. You can enter the Glory Treasury's 2nd floor and choose a treasure. The top 4 battle will begin in 3 days. Military commander, he left after he finished speaking. Goddess Wakamin against Wu Daozi. Lin Feng against Shi Tian. Wow, this year's Battle of Glorious Star is a once-in-a-century event. If they were at the same level as last year, any one of them would have won the championship. Sometimes it really comes in waves. Either they don't come, or they come in waves. I'm looking forward to these 2 battles. It's too suspenseful. The next battle will begin in 3 days. I wonder who will win this year's championship. Although Goddess Wakaman is still far ahead, the other 3 all seem to have trump cards in their hands. None of them are easy to deal with. The Ice Crystal Holy Domain was abuzz with discussions. Half a month had passed since the Battle of Glorious Star. The most outstanding geniuses of the 33 continents had gone through rounds of elimination. Now, only the strongest 4 were left. Only the elites of the elites were left. From this, one could see the strength and foundation of the 3 great sections. 3 of the top 4 were from the top 3 sects, whose positions were as stable as a rock. Immortal Pavilion, Divine Nirvana Sect, Tao, Enlightenment Valley. Only Lin Feng had emerged as a new force to be reckoned with. At this time, he was choosing treasures in the Glory Treasury. His eyes were dazzled by the variety of treasures. Chapter 654. Middle Grade Heaven Rank. The first level of the Glory Treasure Vault contained treasures that were equivalent to low-grade Heaven Rank treasures, whereas the second level contained mid-grade Heaven Rank treasures. For example, the Lightning Kuei Pot that had recently advanced, and a Moonstar Ruler that he'd obtained from the Cursed Devil region, yet had no use for. There are also low-grade Heaven Saint weapons, super low-grade Heaven Rank treasures, and special-class Saint fruits. Divine Beast Eggs, essence with spirit seeds. Lin Feng looked around as he walked. These were basically not seen in the 33 continents. Divine Beast Eggs were rare in the 33 continents. Only in places like the Nirvana world with abundant heaven and earth energy could ferocious demonic beasts evolve into divine beasts. Ferocious demonic beasts were born ruthless and cold-blooded, but divine beasts were intelligent and could be cultivated by humans. Divine beasts were generally smarter and grew faster than essence with spirits. I have the supreme grade Heaven Saint weapon, Black Lotus. It's enough. For defense, I have the low-grade Heaven Indestructible Thunder Pearl armor. Combined with the Whirlpool body and the mid-grade Dark Mystery, it's better than a mid-grade Heaven Rank armor. If my Thunder Dragon Saint Chi rises to the next level, the 33 Thunder Pearls will also rise to the mid-grade Heaven Rank. Of the 3 most important Saint treasures, the only one missing is this. It was the low-grade Heaven Rank Magical Light Sun-Seizing Boots. But although the Shuolo Tower is rare in the Heaven tier, they still have some. Moreover, with my current physical fitness, there are not many who can surpass me in terms of speed if I use all my strength. Lin Feng thought, instead of increasing my speed by a little, it is better to get a holy fruit. A mid-grade Heaven Rank Saint Fruit. Saint Fruits only appear in the Nirvana world. A low-grade Heaven Rank humanoid fruit is fought over in the 33 continents. But here, there are all kinds of mid-grade Heaven Rank Saint Fruits. Basic, Aptitude, and Special. Pure Energy. There are 4 types of Saint Fruits. Basic, such as the common mid-grade Heaven Rank humanoid fruit, could improve bloodline purity. Aptitude, such as the Ice Worm, could improve the water aptitude of the 5 elements. Special, such as the upper-grade Saint Fruit, Ancient Wine, had a success rate of over 90% for elementary Saint Chi and a success rate of over 50% for mid-grade Saint Chi. I need something that can directly enhance my combat power. Lin Feng knew what he wanted. Pure Energy type. My Soul of the Earth has just reached the 6th order. Even if I consume a high-grade Heaven class fruit, I won't be able to reach the 7th order. But Holy Chi can. Due to the abnormal advancement of the Soul of the Earth is now at the 6th level, but the 3 Saint Chi are still at the embryonic week, Lin Feng thought. His Thunder Dragon Saint Chi and Dark Devil Saint Chi were currently at the 7th level of the embryonic week. But the fusion of Holy Chi required Holy Chi to be at the limit of a week. In other words, the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi and Dark Devil Holy Chi not only had to reach the 8th level of Zizhou, but also had to be fully cultivated to the 8th level. This is it. Lin Feng directly took it. Time was money. Every minute and second in the Cocoon Grotto Heaven could be turned into pure energy of the world and absorbed. Lin Feng would not waste the 3 days of training, even though it was not as crazy as the first round of the competition. But the energy of heaven and earth was comparable to that of the Nirvana world. Every day was a real cultivation, especially since he could absorb the magic nuclei at the same time. His efficiency was not slow at all. 3 days. Time passed quickly. Under everyone's expectations, Lin Feng and the other 3 gathered again. The top 4 will fight for the championship of the upper and lower groups. Commander, he said seriously, the winner can enter the 3rd level of the Glory Treasure House and choose any treasure. In the upper half of the first arena, Goddess Wakaman versus Wu Daozi. Lin Feng sneered. He had thought that the 2 battles would be held at the same time, but on second thought, he understood. They must want us to know the strength of our opponents. From the top 8 onward, it would be a battle of pure individual strength. Take a good look at Goddess Wakaman's strength. Wu Daozi's voice echoed in Lin Feng's ears. He looked over. A smile appeared on his round head. Wu Daozi entered the arena casually, as if he was aloof from the world. But Lin Feng knew that it was not that he did not want to compete, but that he knew he could not compete. Goddess Wakaman. Lin Feng's eyes brightened. He had always known that she was very strong. She was a top genius from the Immortal Pavilion and had amazing talent. I wonder how far Wu Daozi can push her. Lin Feng thought. It's finally going to start. The first battle is a heavyweight battle. Goddess Wakaman. My goddess is too beautiful. She must defeat that stinky Taoist. I'm so nervous. My palms are sweating. The ice crystal sacred realm was lively again. Pairs of eyes looked at the huge ice crystal. Goddess Wakaman's support was quite high. Coming from the Immortal Pavilion, her temperament made it difficult for people to blaspheme. Compared to Wu Daozi's silly and naive appearance, Wu Daozi was much worse. However, the most important thing for martial artists was still strength. Clang! His sword was unsheathed. Wu Daozi was still barehanded, but his momentum had changed. Like a kitten, he instantly became a fierce tiger ready to attack. He was facing the strongest battle. The battle began in an instant. A sword, a white dress. Goddess Wakaman's sword heart condensed in her body. As soon as the battle began, Wu Daozi was already in a passive state. Just like blowing snow's sword heart that day, having a sword heart was equivalent to having a sword world, a domain. The world of the heart, the domain of the sword. Sword heart. Lin Feng's heart trembled. If he faced Goddess Wakaman, he would be in the same situation as Wu Daozi, unless he condensed a sword heart. Defend. Lin Feng's eyes brightened. Facing Goddess Wakaman's attack, Wu Daozi chose to defend. Restrained by the sword heart, he was like a spinning top, constantly spinning. His moves were solid, like an airtight ancient bell. Wu Daozi's expression was serious. When he was serious, his strength was quite impressive. What a strong defense! Lin Feng exclaimed. Shrouded by the sword heart, the world was filled with sword intent, but Wu Daozi was still able to defend. This little Taoist from the Valley of Enlightenment had extraordinary combat intuition. He could always predict the future and find Goddess Wakaman's point of attack in an instant. It's similar to the ancient martial arts on Earth. Mind's eye. Lin Feng thought. Goddess Wakaman's attack was invisible and traceless. If it were him, it would be difficult to resist. But with the mind as the eye, Wu Daozi could block it. However, he could only block it, using defense as an attack to consume Goddess Wakaman's strength. Lin Feng knew Wu Daozi's tactics. He sighed in his heart. As the old saying goes, if you keep defending, you will lose. If you keep defending, there will always be a time when you make a mistake, and that is often the fatal moment. Goddess Wakaman's attack was faster and fiercer. On the contrary, Wu Daozi's face was paler. Cold sweat dripped from his forehead, and his reaction speed was gradually unable to keep up. Until blood spurted out from the sword. A hole was broken in Wu Daozi's defense, like a broken dam. Next was a flood. He lost. Lin Feng sighed softly. Chapter 655. The goddess is too strong. Wu Daozi really lost. It's not a battle at all. Wu Daozi only knows how to dodge. I wonder how he managed to get to the 3rd place on the Glorious Stars list. Everyone was discussing. The 5th Palace Master shook his head and sighed. Ning Sushin has accepted a good disciple. Lord Ba sighed. I didn't expect the gap to be so big. Yun Xing said, I'm afraid Wu Daozi is stronger than Mohua, but Goddess Wakamin is far stronger than Wu Daozi. Hong Ying's beautiful eyes sparkled. The last time I saw her was a year ago. At that time, she was 17 years old and already had 9 blood. Now, not only is she stronger, but she has also condensed the sword heart. Even I'm afraid I'm not her opponent. The palace masters of the Blood Tower looked over. Hong Ying was a level 9 Nirvana realm expert. Her strength was comparable to the lower level of the Saint Ascension realm. The result has been decided, Bone King said coldly. Yun Xing nodded. Whether her opponent is Lin Feng or Shi Tian, Goddess Wakamin can easily win. Her strength isn't limited to the 33 continents. Even in the Nirvana world, she is invincible. Invincible. How heavy was this word? But Goddess Wakamin was worthy. Even Commander he nodded, his face full of praise. Even in the Nirvana world, Goddess Wakamin, who was a level 9 Nirvana realm expert, was at the top level. She was qualified to enter the path of glory. Wu Daozi didn't come out. He was sent to another place in the glory world. Goddess Wakamin's figure appeared elegantly. Her aura didn't show that she had just experienced a fierce battle. It was as if it was nothing to her. Did you use your full strength just now? Lin Feng asked. Goddess Wakamin glanced at him and shook her head gently. Lin Feng smiled. Thank you for your honesty. Lin Feng looked at Goddess Wakamin. He had a rough estimation of her strength. Then he looked at Shi Tian. The latter was staring at him like a wolf. Commander He's voice rang out. The second battle, Shi Tian versus Lin Feng. Step. Lin Feng directly entered the decisive battle dimension. He couldn't wait for this battle. This battle should be very intense. That's right, Lin Feng and Shi Tian are equal in strength, but I think Shi Tian is more optimistic. After all, he comes from a prestigious family. Lin Feng's rise is more or less due to luck. I think so too. Shi Tian can defeat Needle Demon. That's enough to show his combat strength. In the Ice Crystal Holy Land, everyone was talking at once. The battle between Goddess Wakamin and Wu Daozi had ended too quickly. They hadn't had enough fun yet. Decisive battle dimension. It was a vast expanse of whiteness. There were no disturbances here, only battles. Fight with all his might. Boom! Lin Feng burst out with his Heaven Saint weapon, Black Lotus. Compared to the battle with Mohua, his strength had increased by another level. Going all out, the explosive power of the 7th layer of the titanium grade body had established an advantage from the start. Physical suppression, saber force suppression. Shi Tian's sword was very strong. His swordsmanship had even reached the 12th level. But he was no match for Shi Tian's saber. How could it be like this? Shi Tian's expression changed. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. He clearly had the advantage in swordsmanship, but the opponent's saber force came wave after wave, turning the tables and preventing him from displaying the full power of his swordsmanship. And the battle quickly. Watching the battle between Goddess Wakamin and Wu Daozi, Lin Feng's fighting spirit was boiling. Vigorous holy chi supported by the 7 limits. Coupled with the strength of his titanium gray body, he directly approached Shi Tian. His gaze fell on Shi Tian's 10 sword scabbards. His gaze was as vicious as a wolf's. It was as if he had returned to the Jinglan mountain range, to the white bamboo residence, and remembered that unforgettable enemy. Nirvana Sect's sect master, Ao Jianwei. I won't let him go. Lin Feng had never been a soft-hearted person. His hatred for Ao Jianwei motivated him to move forward. Repay kindness with kindness. Take revenge with revenge. Pong. Shi Tian was forced back once again. His protective chi shattered, and his face turned ashen with rage. Blue veins popped out on his forehead. In an instant, the remaining 9 swords left their scabbards and flew into the sky. Nirvana Sect's secret technique. 10 swords killing formation. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The swords fell one after another, spinning rapidly in the air. His fingers were like arrows. Rays of light shot out, and streaks of sharp astral chi shot out. The sword chi rushed forward, forming a dense space. Lin Feng showed no fear. The scattered crystal fragments in He Teng's hand curved like a spine, and the bowstring was pulled taut, releasing a dazzling dark light. He Teng's power flood dragon. Lin Feng focused his energy on a single point. He had seen Shi Tian use this move before, and the Needle Demon had suffered a lot because of it. The method to break the 10 swords killing formation was simple. Break it with force. It was several times more powerful than the combined power of the 10 swords. Attacking separately was useless because the 10 swords killing formation had no flaws. Each sword was connected to the other swords, forming a defensive line. Only by focusing on a single point was the most direct, attacking the sword itself and the sword's master. PFFF. Shi Tian vomited blood, and his eyes flashed with the ferocity of a wild beast. Damn it! Shi Tian gritted his teeth. He was still 2 battles away from winning the Glorious Star Battle. As long as he could win the Glorious Star Battle, his master Ao Jianwei would announce to the world that he was accepted as his son. At that time, he would enter the Nirvana world to inherit the Ao family's legacy, and his future would be bright. But right now, he was forced into a desperate situation. Swish! Shi Tian's eyes turned cold. The moment the 10 swords killing formation shattered, a strange, soft black object was thrown out from his hand. It was the top-grade holy artifact he had exchanged for the Glorious Star Ring after the first round of the competition. Dark gray clay. Dai Lin Feng. Shi Tian's timing was extremely accurate. The moment Lin Feng exhausted his energy, this strange, soft black object stuck to Lin Feng like clay and shattered into pieces. Thousands of pieces stuck to Lin Feng like plasticine. This was a control-type holy artifact, a top-grade holy artifact. Not only could it restrain the opponent's movements, but it could also block the transmission of holy qi, especially when it came to absorbing holy qi of darkness. Not only was it useful to humans, it was also useful to the devil race. Shi Tian's eyes glinted fiercely, and the sword in his hand surged with energy, shooting towards Lin Feng, who was restrained by the dark gray clay. Take his life while he's weak. Pa! 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 The dark gray clay around Lin Feng shattered in an instant, and terrifying holy qi of darkness filled the air. Shi Tian's eyes widened in disbelief, but everything happened in front of him in the blink of an eye. He Teng's power, bedevilment. Lin Feng's eyes turned pitch black as if he had turned into a devil. He Teng was like an awakened, dark, demonic dragon. The shattered crystals arranged themselves into a demonic character. Lin Feng's blade was mixed with boundless demonic ruthlessness. The 8th level, Zizhou's dark demonic Saint Qi, blasted out and connected perfectly with He Teng, destroying everything. Boom! In the battle space, Shi Tian's horrified expression appeared, and he turned into a streak of white light, disappearing without a trace. Lin Feng, victory! Chapter 656. It can't be, right? It's over just like that. It's too fast. It's just the beginning. How come it's even shorter than the first battle? Shi Tian is too weak. What Nirvana sect's little god of slaughter? TCH, that's all. The ice crystal sacred domain was in an uproar. Everyone was depressed by Shi Tian's sudden defeat. It was like watching a movie at the beginning of the show. They were looking forward to the exciting plot, but it ended after 10 minutes. That kind of feeling was like their hearts were hung up, unable to be put down. The first battle was like that, and the second battle was also like that, making people unhappy. However, the dust had already settled. Ao Jianwei's face was incomparably gloomy. Hatred filled his heart, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. The Blood Tower 5th Hall Master also exchanged glances. Although they had guessed that Lin Feng might win, they didn't expect it to be so smooth and easy. Lin Feng won? He Xiong asked in a low voice. So fast. Yun Xing said. His luck is really good. Bone King's tone was sour. Lord Ba's eyes shone. Shi Tian's strength is on par with Rong Hua's. Lin Feng has indeed surpassed the peak of 9 bloodlines and touched the threshold of 10 bloodlines. This battle is enough to prove that Lin Feng didn't rely on luck to defeat Rong Hua in the first round. Hong Ying smiled charmingly. This servant is looking forward to the next battle. That's right. Lord Boss smiled. We don't need to envy the immortal pavilion. Lin Feng just entered the first week and already has such battle strength. Next year, or the year after, he will definitely soar into the sky. In fact, he's already very strong. It's just that he was born at the wrong time and met Goddess Wakamin. Lin Feng returned from the battle space. What entered his sight was Commander He's admiring gaze and Goddess Wakamin's beautiful face. Not bad. He Jin nodded in satisfaction. Later, I will bring you to the 3rd floor of the Glory Treasury, and each of you can choose a treasure. With your talent and potential, you actually have the qualifications to enter the path of glory. However, rules are rules. They can't be changed. 3 days later, we'll decide who's better. Come with me. Then, He Jin led the way. Lin Feng and Goddess Wakamin, following closely behind. How's Xinyan? Lin Feng asked. Very good. Goddess Wakamin gently nodded. Lin Feng made up his mind. With Goddess Wakamin's identity and personality, she would not lie. Thank you. Goddess Wakamin said softly. Junior Marshal Sister Exen Yin asked me to tell you that she is fine. Don't worry. Lin Feng smiled. Then I'll have to trouble you to tell Xinyan to cultivate well. I'm fine too. He could tell that Xin Yin was living a comfortable life in the celestial pavilion with Goddess Wakamin as her guide. He could rest assured. You owe me a favor, Goddess Wakamin suddenly said. Lin Feng was slightly taken aback. He suddenly understood what Goddess Wakamin was referring to. He smiled. How do you want me to repay you? Goddess Wakamin's soft hand, her white dress brushed past, leaving behind a faint fragrance. Her voice lingered in the air. 3 days later, don't disappoint me. The sound of nature went straight into his heart. Lin Feng looked at Goddess Wakamin's back as she left, a smile full of fighting spirit. Of course not. Another 3 days passed. For the martial artists of the Ice Crystal Holy Land, each day felt like a year. The Goddess Wakamin and Lin Feng's easy victory in the semifinals made them feel suffocated. They were waiting for the final battle, the battle between the 2 strongest geniuses of the 33 continents. One was the high and mighty goddess of the Celestial Pavilion. She had been at the top of the Brilliant Star ranking since she was 17 years old. The other, she was a dark horse who had fought her way up from the first round. She had created miracles from her first week of pregnancy to her second week of pregnancy. Who will be stronger? Cocoon Grotto Heaven. Phew. Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. 3 days of cultivation could not make his strength level rise again. In fact, he was already satisfied to be able to reach the 6th stage of pregnancy in a short period of time. The soul of the earth had transformed continuously. His Saint Chi and strength had reached the peak. The next battle, I will use all my strength. I will challenge the most outstanding genius of the 33 continents. Lin Feng smiled. There was no pressure or burden at all. There was only a burning fighting spirit. Once upon a time, Goddess Wakamin was like an unattainable star in the sky. Now, she was already in front of him. I am different from Wu Daozi. He is too smart, but I am very stupid. It's finally about to begin. I am so excited. I hope Goddess Wakamin can keep winning, but I also want to see her defeat. What will it be like? Me too. It's so contradictory. But then again, Lin Feng's strength is at most on par with Wu Daozi. The chances of him winning against Goddess Wakamin are very slim. After all, Goddess Wakamin is a rare super genius of the 33 continents. Her strength and aptitude are obvious to all. The Ice Crystal Sacred Realm was filled with passion. There was only one place with a cold aura. A pair of cold and gloomy eyes flickered with a mournful light, as if they were about to crack apart. Ao Jianwei. He was the most unhappy right now. Of the 2 people in the finals, one was the successor of Celestial Pavilion, who had been stepping on the head of the Divine Nirvana sect for years. The other was his mortal enemy, who had killed his son. Ao Jianwei was not in a good mood no matter who won. However, Ao Jianwei still had hope in his heart. I can't let Lin Feng win. Once he enters the path of glory, if I want to kill him again, it will be harder than ascending to heaven. Ao Jianwei thought, if Goddess Wakamin wins this battle, everything will return to normal. As long as Lin Feng leaves the world of glory, then he will die. Good, I hope he can win. Yun Xing clenched his fists. But you should know that it's impossible. Hong Ying glanced over. I also hope that Lin Feng can win this battle cleanly for the Shuelo, but Goddess Wakamin's strength is already incomparable. It's already commendable that Lin Feng can come this far. I hope for a miracle. He Xiong clasped his hands. Lord Ba smiled. Don't worry too much about the result. Lin Feng can enter the final battle this time. It's already amazing. Whether we win or lose in the end, our Shuelo has won the reputation. Yun Xing nodded. Lin Feng is still young. Maybe he will have a chance to participate in the next battle of glory. Let's wait and see. His potential is unfathomable. Lord Ba clicked his tongue. In the beginning, who would have thought that Lin Feng could come this far? Everyone smiled and nodded. Do you know the rules? Commander, he asked. Yes. Understood. Goddess Wakamin and Lin Feng nodded. Commander, he said, there are no material rewards in the final battle, but the winner can get the qualification to enter the path of glory and join the glory team. So I hope you could do your best and don't waste this great opportunity. Go ahead. His voice fell. Lin Feng looked at Goddess Wakamin, and the latter also looked at him. Their eyes met. Then they entered the final battle space. Chapter 657. Lin Feng versus Goddess Wakamin. The final battle of the glorious star battle ignited the entire ice crystal sacred realm. Pairs of eyes stared at the ice crystals, holding their breaths. A great battle was about to break out. Lin Feng clenched his fists, his brows furrowed, and veins popped out. The titanium light flashed instantly. The silver lines shrank rapidly, like a grid, and turned into a faint golden light. The dense and fine arrangement, like a chain, condensed the titanium energy. The 8th level, it directly increased from the 7th level's 30 times to 50 times. Lin Feng's blood vessels protruded, and his muscles swelled. Under the golden light, his tendons were like ferocious snakes, raising his physical fitness to the limit. Without holding back, Lin Feng knew very well that he had to go all out in this battle to have a chance of survival. Golden light. What is this, a new holy treasure? No, Lin Feng seemed to have used it before. It seems to be his bloodline power that can instantly increase his physical fitness. But at that time, it was silver mixed with golden light. Now, a clear change. The Blood Tower 5th Palace Master swallowed his saliva, his heart pounding. With their vast experience, they naturally saw things more clearly than ordinary martial artists. Lord Ba's slightly aged body trembled slightly. He was the weakest among the 5 palace masters, but he was the most experienced. He had seen all kinds of geniuses, but someone like Lin Feng, this was the first time. He still has strength. Monster. Clang. With a crisp sword sound, Goddess Wakamin pulled out her sword. Its color was clear and bright, like a flower that stood aloof from worldly affairs. It was the upper-grade heavenly saint weapon, U-sword. Clang. Clang. As if it had sensed the strength of its opponent, the nether sword was slightly excited as well. In Fairy Rual Meng's hand, the sword had become one with her. Her sword heart had no desires, and it instantly filled the entire space like a chessboard. Sword Heart World, Goddess Wakamin's trump card, and also the absolute power to suppress Wu Daozi. The power of the sword. It was close to Lin Feng. But bang! A giant golden dragon roared. Lin Feng's eyes flashed with a bright luster. It was as if a giant beast had awakened in the depths of his heart. His entire being emitted a domineering aura. Condensed into one state, it was completely unaffected by the shackles of the Sword Heart World. The 12th level of Saber Techniques. Overlord's Combat Power, Level 3. Goddess Wakamin's calm and beautiful face revealed a rare trace of surprise. Her beautiful eyes looked at the young man she had met in Dongling City. It had only been a few months since they last met, but he had already undergone a complete transformation. Heart. Once you reach a certain level of cultivation, You will not fear anything in the world. Lin Feng inexplicably recalled the ancient books he had read on Earth. Facing the suppression of Goddess Wakamin's sword heart, he instantly understood. Unlike Chue Shue's sword heart, Goddess Wakamin's sword heart was infused with her unique power and her way of the sword. As for Chue Shui, she had only just reached the level of sword heart. She was still quite a distance away from Goddess Wakamin. Jin Xin, sword heart. Faintly, Lin Feng seemed to have understood something. His battles with Chue Shui and Fairy Ruomeng allowed him to have a clear understanding of the path he should take in the future. Clang! Dark Devil Holy Qi poured into Heitong. The black haze that had affected Mo Hua and caused him to lose was not released. Crystal fragments that were like curved vertebrae instantly condensed. Lin Feng was very clear that against Goddess Wakamin, unorthodox methods were completely useless. To affect her mind was too difficult. Bang! Pa! Lin Feng's muscles swelled, and Heitong's blade arched like a spring. In an instant, Lin Feng fiercely stepped on the ground. Like a fierce tiger descending the mountain, he went straight for Goddess Wakamin. The 8th level of the titanium grade body was revealed. Compared to the 7th level, the consumption was several times higher. However, there was no other choice. Go all out before the 8th level of the titanium grade body dissipates. If I can't defeat her, then the loser will be me. Fairy Ruomeng did not care about the sword chi that was piercing towards her from all directions. Although she was not affected by the sword heart force, her sword world still held the advantage. Every strand of air in the void was like a sharp blade that wanted to pierce through Lin Feng. Protected by the true dragon holy power, Lin Feng ignored everything and went straight for Goddess Wakamin. Wu Daozi was very smart, because he clearly knew that he was not as strong as Goddess Wakamin. But he was very stupid. Only a stupid person would do something that he knew was impossible. Instead of constantly defending and losing, it's better to be straightforward. As soon as he attacked, Lin Feng went all out. The image of Qiyu behind him was ferocious and terrifying. The power of the whirlpool erupted, and the violent wind whistled. Lin Feng launched a crazy attack. 7 limits, storm. The 7th level of the Dark Devil Holy Power displayed the violence of the storm incisively and vividly. However, Goddess Wakamin's figure floated, and the sword world controlled everything. As she retreated, the storm broke apart one image after another, but she easily avoided it. Tiger form. 33 golden feathers flew out. The head of a fierce tiger condensed in the void and opened its bloody mouth. In terms of attack power, the tiger form was not as strong as the dragon form, but the attack range was very wide. Lin Feng did not slow down. The power of the black tortoise in his hand was instilled. He wanted the most powerful attack. Again and again. The 4th style of the 7 limits, hail. Lin Feng did not give Goddess Wakamin a chance to attack. Even if the Goddess Wakamin's sword Qi pierced through the air and cut his skin, Lin Feng did not care. He had expected to be injured in this battle. He did not have the chance to retreat, because once he retreated, he would lose without a doubt. When enemies meet on a narrow path, the brave wins. Ding! Goddess Wakamin made her move. The golden light turned into a resplendent flower that bloomed. Lin Feng suddenly felt a strong suction force coming from under his feet. The sword Qi in front of him pierced through the hailstones. Goddess Wakamin's sword seemed gentle, but its power was like a liquid bomb, exploding with the slightest touch. The hailstones broke apart, and the resplendent flower closed under his feet. In an instant, Goddess Wakamin had switched from defense to offense. Lin Feng retreated and stood still. The black tortoise once again condensed, accumulating strength. Relying on his advantage in strength, Lin Feng's accumulated strength turned into a flash of light. Layers of vortexes condensed on the flash of light. New sea breaker. The black tortoise slashed through the sword world's pressure, using hardness to break softness. The power kept increasing as the slashes fell. Goddess Wakamin's expression was serious. The light sword in her hand moved without a trace. Every slash and stab was controlled by her will. In an instant, the sword rose with the wind. Layers of whirlwinds weakened the direction of the blade. Goddess Wakamin skillfully dispelled the blade's force and used the whirlwinds to break the vortexes. In terms of technique, she was superior. But at this moment, she had unknowingly stepped into the rhythm of Lin Feng's battle. She had forgotten one thing. Lin Feng was a sacred power cultivator. Whoosh, there was a flash of light. It was a golden, multifaceted ball. Lin Feng had spent 73 billion to obtain this sacred power treasure in the cursed demon territory. It spun rapidly. 2 rays of light suddenly burst out from the front and back. Goddess Wakamin's expression changed abruptly. Her beautiful eyes suddenly froze. Boom, boom. The souls collided. Lin Feng's heart shook violently. His eyes were bloodshot. Hongmen's Sphere. Chapter 658. Hongmen's Sphere, a sacred power attack treasure. It directly used the soul to attack. Their consciousnesses clashed, and the winner would be determined by their willpower. Although Lin Feng knew that he was not as strong as Goddess Wakamin in terms of strength, he believed that he would not lose to Goddess Wakamin in terms of willpower, even if she was a rare genius in the 33 continents. As expected, boom, Goddess Wakamin's beautiful face showed shock for the first time. She was absent-minded for a moment. Her white dress fluttered, and she quickly retreated, trying to distance herself. But it was not that easy. Lin Feng resisted the dizziness and attacked again. The fourth move of the 7 limits, Hail, completely blocked Goddess Wakamin's path of retreat. Bang! Everyone in the ice crystal sacred realm opened their eyes wide. This wonderful battle caused everyone to hold their breaths. Their blood was boiling, and each of the martial artists' faces were flushed red, their fists unconsciously clenched together. A battle of this level was rarely seen even 10 years. So powerful. They are really powerful. So exciting. 1 hard and 1 soft, 1 saber and 1 sword. Everyone stared at the ice crystals, afraid that they would miss something. Ao, Janhui's cold eyes kept changing. His sword-like eyebrows were tightly knitted together, and his teeth were chattering. It was because he hated Lin Feng to the bone, and at this moment his spine was ice-cold. He seemed to have seen the future, the danger, and the terrifying prophecy. If we don't get rid of this kid, he will become a huge threat. Kill him. Boom, boom, boom. It was unknown how many attacks had been launched. Hongmen's Sphere gave Lin Feng a slight advantage, but Goddess Wakamin's willpower was also extraordinary. She quickly recovered. After a series of attacks, the saber technique was countered by Goddess Wakamin's sword technique. Lin Feng's body was full of holes and blood. But Goddess Wakamin was not in a good situation either. The Hongmen Sphere's sudden attack caused her to retreat. Lin Feng's skin was rough, and his flesh was thick. He was very confident in his ability to withstand attacks. But there was not much time left. Let's go all out. He activated the Lightning Dragon scripture, and the Lightning Dragon Holy Chi that was beyond the first tier exploded. Lin Feng's strongest attack. Right now, it wasn't the 7th level of Fetus Week, but Zizhou's 8th floor. The fruits of victory in the semifinals were exchanged for a pure, energy upper-class Saint Fruit, which allowed the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi to make a perfect breakthrough and cross the Zizhou mark. Lin Feng performed the new Sea Breaker again, and its power was more than twice as strong as when he used the Dark Devil Holy Chi. Goddess Wakamin frowned slightly, but she did not understand, because Lin Feng couldn't hit her with all his attacks. So what was the use no matter how powerful they were? True, I sang power. In the depths of Lin Feng's sea of consciousness, an eye had already widened. Each attack had its own purpose. As expected, Goddess Wakamin was able to neutralize the violent power of the blade. However, this time, she spent a lot of effort. Just as she transformed into a perfect shadow, the goddess Wakamin retreated. Suddenly, whoosh! A golden sphere emitted a magnificent radiance. Dragon Abyssal Pearl. Swish! Goddess Wakamin dodged. Then, another dragon's sea pearl necklace came right at him, as fast as a spark. Swish, swish, swish. Goddess Wakaman dodged continuously. However, there were a total of 9 Dragon Abyss pearls, and the Goddess Wakaman had no choice but to block the 7th one. With the power of the Imperial Void secret, it was extremely shocking. Clang! The Yu sword rang out. Goddess Wakaman's face was slightly pale, and her tall and straight chest heaved up and down. The 8th one! Clang! The Yu sword was like a dent, and the Goddess Wakaman's mouth was bleeding. At this moment, the 9th one attacked, hitting the Goddess Wakaman's left arm. The Yu sword flew out of her hand. Lin Feng's eyes widened, and even the people in the Ice Crystal Sacred Realm exclaimed in surprise. A swordsman without a sword. A great opportunity. Now, Lin Feng's black scorpion suddenly blasted out. However, this time, the Goddess Wakaman in the void had completely changed. There was blood at the corner of her mouth, and the Goddess Wakaman's entire body was emitting a holy light. Like an angel descending, her original otherworldly temperament was unleashed to the extreme, just like a real fairy. Light, super-grade holy aura? Lin Feng's heart sank. He felt that the Goddess Wakaman's holy aura of light was even stronger than his Thunder Dragon holy aura. That was an existence of a higher level. Swish! The extremely bright light turned into a light sword, and the Goddess Wakaman's beautiful eyes seemed to be somewhat unconvinced. Facing Lin Feng's attack, she actually chose to take it head-on this time. Bang! Bang! In a head-on clash, Lin Feng retreated, his arm completely numb. What a powerful attack. Lin Feng was secretly shocked. The Goddess Wakaman's strength was far inferior to his. She relied on swordsmanship, holy aura, or bloodline. Good. Lin Feng's blood boiled, and his fighting spirit soared. The black scorpion changed again, and the crystal fragments condensed into the word demon. A powerful energy resonated with the dark demon holy aura. Lin Feng's eyes rapidly turned into that of a demon, and there seemed to be a giant beast howling in his body, as if it was about to awaken. After demonization, Lin Feng was even closer to a demon. Not only was his physical strength stronger, but his fighting spirit was even crazier, and he could use the 7 limits as he wished. It implied the Tao of demons. Dong! Lin Feng had already put the outcome of the battle aside. He was not as smart as Wu Daozi, but this was how battles were. Thinking too much might not be a good thing. He kept attacking crazily, and although he was at a disadvantage every time, after all, the Goddess Wakaman was also a human and a woman. She would also be tired, injured, and exhausted. Chi! The Goddess Wakaman's sword pierced through Lin Feng, and the 8th tier of his titanium-gray body almost collapsed. However, Lin Feng did not care at all. After avoiding his vital points, he also counterattacked the Goddess Wakaman. His white figure flashed, but in the next second, bang, the dragon form broke through the Goddess Wakaman's defense. Again, Lin Feng was bathed in blood, and countless swords surged out from all directions, piercing his skin. However, there was only demonic power and darkness in Lin Feng's eyes. When his sword fell, he also heavily injured the Goddess Wakaman. Injury for injury. The Goddess Wakaman was already flustered by Lin Feng. She was extremely talented, and she had never experienced such a battle. However, Lin Feng had grown up fighting in the marketplace since he was young. His big brother Lin Zhan had once said that even if he lost, he would lose like a man and fight to the last ounce of his strength. Fight to the last moment. 10,000 sword luster. The Goddess Wakaman's body was extremely dazzling. An endless light swords erupted. Lin Feng's body seemed to be penetrated by countless light swords. The 8th tier of his titanium-grade body collapsed and scattered, and his titanium-grade elements were exhausted. The difference in strength made it difficult for Lin Feng to escape defeat, but at this time, the Goddess Wakaman was also at the end of her rope. Star Moon Ruler. Lin Feng unleashed the last of his true dragon holy power, and a ruler that emitted the light of the moon and stars flew out. A mid-heaven tier holy treasure. Lin Feng had never used it before because it was an assist-type holy treasure. However, It was now used as a hidden weapon. With its mid-heaven tier grade, it was enough to unleash the power of a hidden weapon to the extreme. The goddess Wakamin, who had just released the 10,000 sword luster, did not expect that Lin Feng would still be attacking at the last moment before he was killed. Chi, the Star Moon ruler, shattered the goddess Wakamin's remaining defense. Almost at the same time as Lin Feng, the goddess Wakamin turned into a white light and disappeared from the decisive battle space. Brothers and sisters, please guarantee the minimum monthly votes. Chapter 659. It was over. In the Ice Crystal Sacred Realm, everyone was stunned. Seeing the two white lights disappear almost at the same time, they were dumbfounded and shocked. It happened so fast that they didn't even have time to react. But the battle was over and the decisive battle space was empty. Who won? Where did they go? What's this, a draw? It's really an eye-opener. I've never seen such an intense top-level battle. The strength of Goddess Wakamin and Lin Feng is too amazing. No matter who wins, it's enough to convince everyone. Wonderful. Commander, what's this? Yes, the two came out of the decisive battle space at the same time. I've never heard of a battle of glory star like this. Although the two are only Zizhou, they both have the strength of ordinary honorary captains. The 7 honorary captains kept praising. They were not ordinary honorary captains, but the trump card army of the 7 Alliance under Commander He. Everyone had different opinions. At this time, He Jin's brows were tightly knitted and emitted a strong aura, as if he was thinking about something. After a long time, he let out a long breath. He Jin shook his head and sighed. The two are rare seedlings. They both have the strength and potential to enter the path of glory. Unfortunately, He Jin looked at the 7 honorary captains. What do you think? Everyone looked at each other. The honorary captain in charge of the second round said, "How about an extra round?" He Jin shook his head. "It's against the rules." Another beautiful woman pursed her lips. "In my opinion, the one who is kicked out of the decisive battle space first loses." He Jin's eyes were burning. The one who left the decisive battle space first is Goddess Wakamin. Everyone released a light sigh, somewhat surprised. But as an honorary captain, He Jin's eyes were much sharper than theirs. He couldn't be wrong. Lin Feng's fighting spirit and willpower are stronger. Therefore, even though he has already lost, he exited the decisive battle space 1,000th of a second later than Goddess Wakamin. He Jin looked at everyone and paused for a moment. However, the one who lost first was Lin Feng. The honorable sword-bearing captain said, so Lin Feng was defeated first, and Goddess Wakamin was defeated because she let down her guard. However, this happened after Lin Feng was defeated. Naturally, the winner should be Goddess Wakamin. I don't agree. The woman frowned. Rules are rules. The one who leaves first is the loser. You can't say that. We have to decide which side loses first. The honorable captain with the sword said, and in my opinion, it's better to win first. Goddess Wakamin is clearly stronger than Lin Feng. It's only because she lacks battle experience that Lin Feng was able to take advantage of her. The woman snorted. A loss is a loss. How can there be so many excuses? Don't tell me you've taken a fancy to her. The honorable captain with the sword blushed. I'm just stating facts. Everyone was red in the face from arguing. He Jin had been frowning deeply. However, both sides had their reasons. How to determine the final victor was undoubtedly a huge problem. Both of them are rare seedlings. He Jin was having a hard time choosing. Whoosh, whoosh. Almost at the same time, Lin Feng and Goddess Wakamin appeared in the misty land. There were still 6 roads leading to the sky. Clouds and mist were misty. It was the location of the first round of the competition. They were transported out of the decisive battle space and arrived here. Lin Feng and Fairy Ruoming looked at each other and exchanged glances. They recalled the last scene of the previous battle. Suddenly, Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. He lost consciousness after throwing out the star and moon ruler like a tight string snapping. He didn't expect Goddess Wakamin to be defeated by his dying move. If she hadn't been eliminated, she wouldn't have come here. "You've become a lot stronger," Goddess Wakamin suddenly said, staring at Lin Feng with her beautiful eyes. She was determined to be first in the battle of Glory Star. She had never underestimated any opponent, but she had never really cared about an opponent. However, Lin Feng's appearance was something she did not expect. "I'm still not as good as you." Lin Feng knew himself well. In terms of strength, he was still not as good as Goddess Wakamin. This time, she was only caught off guard by him. She had never met an opponent like him, which was why she failed miserably. If they were to fight again, he would definitely lose. Goddess Wakamin's strength was at least 10 blood ordinary. "I didn't win." Goddess Wakamin's voice was faint, as if there was an indescribable mood. "If it was a real battle, we should have died together." Lin Feng's eyes twinkled. "But this is just a battle of Glory Star. Ice Crystal Holy Land. What's going on? Is there no result?" "I don't know. It hasn't been shown." "Who won?" They disappear at the same time. The most nervous one was the 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower. Although he had overestimated Lin Feng's combat strength, he still didn't expect that Lin Feng could push Goddess Wakamin to such an extent and even overturn her. The whole battle was completed in one breath. The 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower stared at the end, completely suffocating. Even Bone King, who had always disliked Lin Feng, looked solemn at this time. As a teacher, he naturally hoped that his disciple, Rong Hua, would be stronger than Yun Xing's disciple. But as one of the 5th Palace Masters of the Blood Tower, it would be a lie to say that he didn't care about such a talented genius like Lin Feng. Especially Lin Feng, who had created a miracle this time. "They're here. I see them." Finally, the result is coming. Looking at the 3 figures on the ice crystal, the 5th Palace Master of the Blood Tower looked solemn. His heartbeat accelerated, and his fists clenched tightly. The winner would be qualified for the Road of Glory. Jin had arrived. He was tall and straight like a pine tree, with an iron-blooded temperament. Jin nodded with satisfaction and said, "Ruomeng, Lin Feng, you've done well." Lin Feng stood still and looked at Commander He. He was as calm as a painting, without any anxiety. He was satisfied to be able to compete with the most outstanding geniuses of the 33 continents. This battle had brought him a lot of benefits. Compared to his previous self, he was like a completely different person. Whether he won or lost, he could accept it. "Both of you are qualified to join the Road of Glory team. But the rules can't be changed." Commander He's voice was stern as he swept his gaze over the two of them. "If we were to observe the real battle, the outcome would be mutual destruction. The first to be defeated would be Lin Feng." As his voice fell, Fairy Ruomeng's beautiful eyes flickered. Lin Feng smiled and accepted it. "But," Commander He's voice sounded again. "According to the rules of the Battle of Glory, the one who leaves the battlefield first will be judged as the loser, and that person, it's you, Goddess Wakamin." Bang! Goddess Wakamin's beautiful face turned pale. She lost. Chapter 660. Lin Feng was stunned by the sudden turn of events. He clearly knew that there was still a considerable gap in strength between himself and Fairy Ruomeng. Moreover, this battle in the decisive battle space could at most be considered a draw. Strictly speaking, he was actually the loser. However, just because he had left the decisive battle space a little late, he had become the final champion? This kind of victory was indeed a little far-fetched. "Do you have any objections?" Commander He's gaze fell on Goddess Wakamin's beautiful and pale face. Goddess Wakamin's long eyelashes fluttered slightly. The Yu sword at her waist vibrated slightly. She nodded and shook her head, accepting the result calmly. Commander He nodded. His gaze fell on Lin Feng. He was about to open his mouth when suddenly, "I have an objection." Lin Feng looked at Commander He. The latter frowned and looked at him fiercely. Pursing his lips, Lin Feng glanced at the pale and beautiful face beside him. She looked like a broken-winged angel who had fallen to earth. "I lost this battle. I don't deserve to be the champion." Lin Feng never cared about empty titles. Some things were better left unclaimed. In terms of strength, he was indeed not as good as Goddess Wakamin. In terms of a decisive battle space, he was indeed defeated. But because of the rules, he won. It was heavy in his hand. It was too hot. Commander He and Goddess Wakamin looked at him in surprise. Lin Feng said, I think I deserve to be the champion. I also hope. Lin Feng looked at Goddess Wakamin. Next time, I can defeat her with my true strength. So I forfeit this time. Lin Feng knew what he was doing. Moreover, with the qualifications to enter the path of glory, joining the glory team was not an urgent matter for him. However, Fairy Ruomeng was different. Just by looking at her expression, one could tell that her sect had placed high hopes on her. She had always been unfazed by favor or disgrace, and her sword heart was brightly lit, so she placed great importance on the title of champion. He had repaid the favor he owed her this time, and the most important thing was, I can't leave. Enter the path of glory and join the glory team. This meant that he had to leave the 33 continents and enter the Nirvana world. But there were still many things he had not done here. There were many favors he had not repaid, and many grudges were still bloody. It was unforgettable. How could he just leave like that? Ice Crystal, Sacred Realm. As commander, he gave a glory medal to Goddess Wakamin. An uproar arose. This meant that the final result had been decided. After a series of ups and downs, Fairy Ruomeng had finally succeeded in taking the crown of this Battle of Glorious Star. At the same time, he also obtained the qualifications to enter the path of glory. The Battle of Glory Star had come to a successful conclusion. Sigh, we still failed at the last step. Lord Ba shook his head and sighed. To be able to fight to this extent is already quite impressive, Yun Xing said. Maybe it's because of the injury. Lord Ba stroked his long beard. Maybe she thinks you won by luck. Anyway, Lin Feng's performance this time has far exceeded our expectations. After we return to the Blood Tower, I think we should discuss how to cultivate this amazing genius. Bone King said, Isn't the best treatment for 9 bloodlines? Redding smiled sweetly. She blinked. Rules are made by people. Lin Feng is so special. I don't think it's appropriate to restrict him with the current rules of the Blood Tower. Yun Xing said, in 10 consecutive battles of Glory Star, the number of people from the Blood Tower who entered the competition was always the first, but we never won the championship. Including Lin Feng this time, we were ranked second 5 times in total. On the other hand, the Immortal Pavilion won the championship 6 times, the Nirvana Sect won twice, and even the Enlightenment Valley won once. Lorba nodded. More people do have a better chance, but there can only be one champion. The cultivation effect may be better if we focus on resources. If we could find Lin Feng half a year earlier and do our best to cultivate him, maybe the glory today would not be shrouded by Goddess Wakamin, but him. Everyone frowned and thought. Indeed, this was a general change of direction. Go back and prepare for a meeting. I think it's time for the Blood Tower to change. Lord Ba turned and left. All the temple masters agreed. At this time, the Ice Crystal Sacred Realm was full of praise for Lin Feng. In this battle, Lin Feng was defeated with honor. In the Misty Land, after Commander, he left. Only Lin Feng and Goddess Wakamin were left. Opening her mouth, Goddess Wakamin's beautiful eyes sparkled. She wanted to say something, but she couldn't. After being injured, her pretty face was pale because of blood loss. She gently nodded and spat out 3 words after a long time. I'm sorry. Lin Feng smiled. Just now, Goddess Wakamin's expression changed, and her heart was filled with complex emotions. Born in the Immortal Pavilion, she was famous all over the world. Goddess Wakamin did not represent herself alone, but the entire Immortal Pavilion, the #1 sect in the 33 continents. She carried heavy pressure and burdens on her shoulders. There were some things she had to do, and some things she could not give up. Next time, I'll beat you fair and square. Lin Feng looked at Goddess Wakamin and smiled. See you in the Nirvana world. Lin Feng nodded and then walked forward. It was unnecessary to say too much. It would only increase the pressure on Goddess Wakamin, which was not what he wanted. The passages to the 6 lands of peril and the Misty Land still existed. Lin Feng walked to the 3rd passage and said leisurely, Help me take care of Xan Yen. His figure disappeared into the clouds. Lin Feng once again entered the 6 lands of peril. Behind him, Goddess Wakamin had a complicated expression. She bit her lips so hard that blood seeped out. Her clenched fists trembled. Then she weakly released them and raised her head. She had lost. Death Bell Graveyard. It was one of the 6 lands of peril, the place where the demon experts were the most rampant. It was also the place Chi Fan was most familiar with. Compared to the Gate of Heaven's Wrath, where the demon Chi and dark energy were much denser, there were many more demons here, far more than the Gate of Heaven's Wrath. Lin Feng entered, and Chi Fan's memories appeared in his mind. A sense of familiarity instantly appeared in his heart. This place was like his own territory. There should be a large demon cave ahead. Lin Feng's eyes shone, but his body was somewhat weak. Letting out a light breath, Lin Feng sat down cross-legged. In the battle with Goddess Wakamin, although he had been kicked out of the decisive space at the last moment, his injuries were real. Even Goddess Wakamin had been seriously injured. Although the Battle of Glorious Star had ended, the world of glory would not close so quickly. It would remain open for 30 days. As one of the 2 who had lost in the end, Lin Feng naturally had the qualifications to stay here until his strength was fully recovered. Where could he find such a good opportunity? 8 more days. Chapter 661. Dang! Dang! The sound of the bell was like a demon awakening. Every bell sound seemed to resound beside their ears. Even if they were at the outermost area of Death Knell Cemetery, the sound was still clear. It was unknown where the bell sound came from, but it was terrifying. Many demon experts were turned into puppets by the death knell, losing their rationality and nature. Some were even killed by the death knell. Music, when strong to a certain extent, was equally destructive. The deeper we go, the stronger the death knell. From the eardrums to the brain, and finally to the heart, it attacks the heart. Chi Wan was a primordial heavenly demon. He had been in Death Knell Cemetery for many years, so he was very clear about it. This was the cradle of demons. Every time the death knell was rung, it seemed to awaken the potential in the demon's body, excavating their strength. The closer they were to the limit, the greater their potential would be. Not only would their cultivation speed increase, their combat strength would also increase. Therefore, even though they knew that Death Knell Cemetery was full of dangers and could lose their lives if they were not careful, countless demon experts still entered. Even though it was listed as one of the 6 most dangerous places, Death Knell Cemetery to the demon race, it was like a sacred ground. The demon race's sacred ground. Lin Feng stood up. After a few hours of recovery, his body had recovered 50%. Every minute of the remaining 8 days was precious. The cultivation speed here could not be compared to the 33 continents. Even a Nirvana world could not compare. Even though it was a simulation of Death Knell Cemetery, it still had a certain charm and heaven and earth energy. It's time to hunt. Lin Feng's black stallion blossomed, its aura overflowing. Here it was like a new life. Landslide. Storm. The mountain rocks in the demon cave crumbled, rumbling and collapsing. Instantly, a gale whistled like a tornado, killing all kinds of demons in the darkness. Even if Lin Feng did not use his full strength, he could still easily kill them. Pung, pung, pung. One by one, the demons turned into heaven and earth energy, which Lin Feng quickly absorbed. Even though it was only a portion, it could not withstand too much. The efficiency of absorption is even better than the black demon forest at the end of Heaven's Wrath Gate. Lin Feng nodded in satisfaction, even though the area of the demon cave was limited. The efficiency would gradually decrease, but this was only the tip of the iceberg of Death Knell Cemetery. The deeper they went, the stronger the demons. Lin Feng made full use of his time and entered the depths of the Devil's Den as quickly as possible. There's a medium-sized Devil's Den there. Further ahead, it's a Devil's Den in a valley. Lin Feng's memory was very clear. These were all realistic simulations of the Death Knell Graveyard. The Glory Realm was very mystical, but it could only simulate a portion of the outer layer. The real danger zone was thousands or even tens of thousands of times larger than this. It was much more complicated. Right now, there were only some demonic creatures and essence with spirits here. They were all creatures with elementary consciousness, but they were in a truly dangerous place. Humans, demons, and monsters. No matter which land of extremists it was filled with the three great races. All kinds of schemes and traps had been set up. Even Chi Fan, who was as powerful as primordial Sky Devil, had been slaughtered. It was obvious. That is where the true challenge lies. Lin Feng's heart was filled with longing. Lin Feng looked forward to the Nirvana world. The 6 most dangerous lands were indeed dangerous, but they were the furnaces of true experts, a place full of opportunities and challenges. Clang! The loud sound of the death knell rang again. Lin Feng's heart trembled slightly. The sound of the bell in the outer layer is already so powerful. What will it be like inside the death knell graveyard? Lin Feng's eyes sparkled. The 2nd day, the 4th day, the 6th day, Lin Feng swept through the death knell graveyard. In his memory, he didn't let go of any devil's den in the entire area. To ensure efficiency, Lin Feng would leave when he killed about 70% of the devil's dens. He moved to the next devil's Denver. Because there were only about 30% left, the efficiency would be much slower. My luck is not bad. During the first round of the competition, not many demonic creatures were killed here. Lin Feng raised his saber and swung it down. A stone demon was split into pieces. Basically, other than himself, other warriors wouldn't waste their Saint Chi on these virtual demons because they were worthless. Therefore, he left a lot of heaven and earth energy for himself. The cultivation speed of the Death Knell Graveyard. From the beginning, it was comparable to the Black Demon Forest. Now, it was comparable to the heart of the Black Demon Forest. Boom! The power of the new Breaking the Sea appeared and directly killed a Heaven Rank Level 3 demon. Lin Feng didn't use his titanium gray body. It was just a blade, but his strength was already so terrifying. The realm of his blade technique had improved compared to the past. The 12th realm. Lin Feng benefited a lot from the battle with Goddess Wakaman, especially her heart of the sword world. His understanding and control of the sword seemed to have opened a door on his path forward. From the 12th realm to the blade heart. A saber that belongs to me. Lin Feng slashed down again. The new Breaking the Sea was extremely fast, and its power was constantly increasing. After condensing the advanced light mystery, the vortex, it not only made the blade momentum complicated, but also made the blade technique full of variables. Although it was only the first move of the 7 limits, it was his strongest move at the moment. After all, there's a difference between humans and demons. Strength skills are created by demons that are suitable for their own strength. But we humans are best at comprehension and mystery. It's better to combine the two than to seek the trifles. The combination of blade technique and profound meaning is very important. Lin Feng nodded. Why was Goddess Wakaman's sword so strong? It was not only because of her sword Dao and her sword heart. She could explode with a stronger attack than him in a situation where her strength was inferior to his. It was because of the perfect combination of her sword technique and profound meaning. Different profound meanings, combined with different sword techniques, could produce different effects. Actually, the first move of the 7 limits, Breaking the Sea, and the advanced light mystery, Vortex, are not very perfect. Lin Feng was very clear, but he had not comprehended many profound meanings at the moment. Vortex was the only advanced profound meaning. The power of advanced profound meanings is much weaker than that of intermediate profound meanings, especially the vortex type of advanced profound meanings. Its power is greatly increased, almost comparable to that of a peak profound meaning. So, even if Vortex and Breaking the Sea were not very compatible, its power was still terrifying. This was the effect of the basic strength. This time, I bought a new advanced profound meaning at the Blood Tower. Lin Feng nodded. The profound meaning he had obtained at the exchange place that day was just a benefit for ordinary blood assassins. He was a core member. On the 8th day, whoosh, his aura skyrocketed. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. Naturally, he broke through and officially entered the 7th rank of the Zizhou realm. His strength had improved by leaps and bounds. I didn't expect that in a short month, I would be reborn. Lin Feng clenched his fists, feeling the vigorous and surging power all over his body. His strengthened body was filled to the brim. The thoughts in his mind became deeper and deeper. Senior Bai Yin, wait for me. Soon, I will avenge you and kill Ao Jianwei to comfort your soul in heaven.